Hello,
Do.
everyone.
I believe we are live and active. I think.
Well, let's hope so.
Let's
Yeah,
see if
we are.
anybody in the
We
chat will
are on
talk.
Twitch.
No. You don't matter. We need to make sure people in the chat are talking. Chat, if you're alive, tell us.
Oh yeah, I'm sure everybody arrives the second we start sharing. It's been 16
They
seconds. Chill.
better. They love us, don't they?
I don't even love myself.
I love myself. Even if I look like a burnt chicken nugget, I still love myself.
Why a burnt chicken? We're
No, burnt chicken nugget.
Oh, nugget. Okay. Still, it's May. How did you get burned? Are there high temperatures in the US already? On the East Coast? I kind of don't believe it.
I was wondering if
Here
I.
it's been the entire May so far has been raining. And it's irritating because I fear my tomatoes are going to fucking die on this balcony as they are getting soaked. But we'll see.
You're growing tomatoes?
Yeah. It's the only vegetable that tastes better when it's fresh. It makes the most
That is a
noticeable
fair
difference.
point. Maybe that's why I don't like. Maybe that's why I don't like tomatoes.
Store-bought tomatoes are usually pretty tasteless, especially in winter.
I've been doing some random searching today because I wanted to find out whether or not Back for Blood is going to have crossplay. And I was relieved to discover that apparently on the Discord it was mentioned there is going to be crossplay. They don't have precise details given about it now, but they said do expect crossplay for it. Oh no, the project that Kenichiro Takaki is working on is a multiplayer game.
Oh. Well.
Oh well. I guess I'm not interested anymore.
Such is life.
I'm glad the dude is working on game development now and everything, but fuck, dude, I didn't want a fucking PvP multiplayer game.
Don't you want to shoot other people in the face?
Not really.
Like in Fortnite?
No. The last
Don't
time
you
I
want...
remember genuinely enjoying shooting someone in the face was Titanfall 2. And as I'm sure you've seen, that game is fucked right now.
Yep.
And I think on consoles, it has the problem of the only people who are playing at the moment are killers. And I don't know if the non-PC version of it is fucked or not. So, but you know, and enough stalling, because I think we have been stalling this resuming of this stream for a few weeks now.
Yeah, 2 weeks.
Approximately.
Yeah. Well, okay. Unfortunately, stuff happens.
Yep, stuff happens.
Especially as you're fighting the goddamn copyright algorithm of YouTube. Jesus Christ.
Oh, did your Attack on Titan video get taken down?
No, but before it could even be up, it took me like 20 renders.
Yeah, gotcha.
Because of course it won't tell you every problem it has at first. It will tell you some of the problems, and then you upload it again. It tells you a few more, and so on and so forth.
Why the fuck is my mouse icon broken now? Why is it just showing? That's weird. Okay, so I'm awake now.
Yeah.
The bed is still cold from the broken window.
Oh, we can see the broken window now.
The window stands broken in its frame. Cold wind blows in. The shards face outward. Whatever broke this window came from the inside. A fine web of scarring covers the back of your right hand, but none of it is recent. More likely a projectile than a held object. There are no fragments on the floor from pulling a tool back in after impact. It is too large for a bullet, yet too small for a piece of furniture. You're looking for something heavy and larger than your fist. The shoe you found on the balcony fits the hole almost as well as your foot. It would have also been heavy enough if thrown with force. Congratulations, you smashed the window with your own shoe.
What a stupid thing to do.
Pretty much. But hey, at least you found your shoe. Not that it will keep you warm at night.
Thanks, Pain Threshold.
That's what it's here for. It tells you when things hurt.
There was something that Pat was talking about on the podcast this week. Hang on.
Nothing on the front page rings any bell. Strange.
And he was saying there's this mechanic that the game does not inform you of that may in fact... God, I wish I could remember what it was. There's a mechanic that the game does not inform you of, and then a control scheme as well that it does not outright inform you of. And I wish I could remember what it was.
I don't even know what you're talking of.
Fuck.
If you mean just highlighting or running around, and I think that's pretty self-explanatory. Double click and hold the mouse button.
I really am bothered because I remember hearing about it and I was saying, I need to remember this for when we resume playing it again. But I was also...
Well, good job.
Huh?
Good job, then.
Yeah. Hang on. I'm sorry, everybody. I'm going to have to find this in the podcast real quick because it's bothering me, but I can't remember.
Balls live on stream.
Right there, that works out. So yeah, I can keep the characters undubbed for this. Street Fighter 4 and 5 were excellent.
Fighting games.
It went in all sorts of places. Sorry, hold on a second. Like, what could be more difficult about the puzzle adventure point and click nature? In hardcore mode, the changes are don't heal you for fuck that. That's not. And you know. Got to discover something that I thought you might be interested in.
Oh, here it is.
Playing as a fascist, but the fascist capo type thought.
Oh wait, no, this isn't it. Fuck.
They're not.
Wow.
Time for the authority dorically, and the part that got me is: have you found the other mugs yet? No. Like in the head. Let's start for these people. These people get is. Do you smell that? It smells like that.
Sorry, everybody.
Everybody who?
That's a good question. Nobody here but us chickens.
Whereas most games seem like kind of embarrassed of themselves. I got to have a lot of great conversations in my chat about all sorts of different fucking shit. The story and the plot and like events are basically swerve aim loop back to. I had like a couple of moments where I was just like made massively uncomfortable being crazy at you. Yes, you're not the source, you're the recipient. Therefore, but whatever. Get out. I can't. And it might go somewhere that.
Oh God, that's what it was. Now I remember. Okay. It is a hidden mechanic, and that is if a stat is pushed to I think it's 12 or 14, by being that high, that stat will start initiating trap dialogue. So do you know what I mean by that?
It's not hidden at all. It tells you at character creation that a stat too high is as detrimental as a stat too low. In every single description. So don't min-max.
Yeah, don't min-max is what it's trying to communicate there, but it is interesting learning that if you actually jack it up way too fucking high, that you will pay the price.
Yeah.
Okay, sorry about that. Let's head downstairs. Information before the conversation moves on. God, it's almost been too long that I'm feeling weird. Whoa, okay.
People.
In the middle of the bar. Good morning.
Morning.
He gives you a quick nod.
I've got some good news. I took care of the body. The thought of him decomposing in my MC wouldn't let me sleep.
Good, thanks.
I'm just glad he's gone. We have other matters to attend to.
The lieutenant is downplaying his contribution. He got up before sunrise to get this done, and now he's quite pleased with himself for taking care of the gruesome business so efficiently.
The Union muscle finally turned up, and they look rowdy. We need to talk to them.
Why do we need to talk to them?
Everything points to the Dock Workers Union. The belt used for hanging him, the circumstances in Martinez, my preliminary information, which may, of course, all be wrong. But we still need to talk to them, and it won't be easy.
What do you mean by rowdy?
I mean ungovernable. Martinez isn't exactly enthusiastic about the RCM being here. They prefer to be policed by the Union. These men here, men who drink beer for breakfast, there's talk of an armed wing of the Union called the Hardy Boys, who are responsible for state policing. I think it's them.
Are these the men that Gart told us about yesterday?
I completely forgot. Sorry, I had a rough night's sleep. It's them by the looks of it. Loud and nasty, just like the manager said. One loose thread to worry about, and one big problem to replace it.
There's so many of them. Maybe we should call in reinforcements?
That would just escalate tensions. No captain would sign off on it. Solving one murder isn't worth a conflict between the RCM and the Debarders Union. In fact, even the death of 2 detectives might not warrant an all-out war. So let's keep a cool head, okay?
He's not exaggerating about that mortal danger, just calmly factoring it in. Your fists clench and your pulse rises uncomfortably.
Let's roll.
One more thing before we do. We don't have to talk to them immediately. We can walk right past them, continue with our business.
But aren't you curious to know what they have to say about the murder?
They're in no hurry to leave. They think they own the place. Anyway, I leave that choice to you. Whatever you decide is fine by me.
Options.
Can I help you?
About my bill for tonight.
Got the 20 real?
Not yet.
Then why are you wasting my time and yours?
Goodbye.
Wow, wasting my time.
Why are you wasting my fucking time? Get back to work on my VCR. I want to watch my fucking night court down. I'm forcing this so badly.
This murder investigation is the biggest disappointment since my son.
My son comes into my house and he says, "Welcome to Rebishol," and I wonder what it's supposed to imply. I think he hates me secretly for being a deadbeat.
I may not have noticed it, but my brain did.
We're bringing you all the best bits and recycled material today, everybody.
Yes, it's like the terror lying on the streets of Revachol. Every single recycled bits give us 10 cents.
I simultaneously find that clever, and yet also I can feel myself mentally rolling my eyes.
Good. It's on brand for me then.
You're back. Good. What can I help you with? Not an umbrella, I hope. I don't need one myself, you see.
She pats her wet raincoat.
All around you, rain keeps falling down. On the wooden boards she's standing on, and on the water around you.
Neither do I. I pat my similarly wet cloak.
Very rugged. Good choice. Now, I suspect you had questions. Nothing like talking to pass a rainy day. Am I right?
I've got some more questions about reality.
More lessons in basic reality? My favorite part of the day. Go ahead, ask me anything.
Ask from the top.
What times
Right.
are these?
These are unimportant times, Detective. You and I were born after the dust had settled. 1,000th of a second too late.
Too late for what?
For the big time.
Her eyes light up. There's a flash of teeth.
The smile of a predator. No doubt what she's got in mind.
You got a predatory streak.
All men are predators, dear. Nothing much to be done about that. It's all a matter of where you get to file your teeth.
What's the big time?
The revolution.
And what is this revolution I keep hearing about?
It's quite easy. Every 100 years or so, our species gets together to decide what's next, who gets shot in the head, and who gets the mineral rights. It's a real kerfuffle.
Who got shot in the head?
Those would be the communists. Generally speaking, 40 million people got shot in the head during the World Revolution. But the communists, they all got shot in the head. Oh, and the anarchists too. They shot them well. So well, one forgets they even existed.
Did the communists and the anarchists shoot back?
Did they ever? Before they got shot themselves, they shot 2 million people.
Quick math here. What's 40 minus 2?
38 million?
Yeah, quite a disproportion of power, I have to say.
That's a tragedy.
Yes, the Red Deluge. The Insulindian Deluge, they call it.
I had a deluge too, in my head. I point to my little head.
Yes, an acute thiamine deficiency can be exacerbated by alcoholism. Exacerbated means made worse.
Siblings here were nice.
Anyone else got shot in the head on the opposing side?
Oh, lots of people. Even the king got shot in the head, or thrown beneath a horse, or drowned. Accounts differ. It was unceremonious. Just as well, he wasn't actually the king. Just the king's nephew.
She shakes her head.
The real king abdicated and lived out a long and productive life as a venture capitalist in Grad.
Cowardly king.
I prefer the term risk-averse. King Guillaume was nobody's fool. He could smell a PR disaster brewing, so he got out alive, and his nephew Fricelle got shot in his place. Him and tens of thousands of his wonderfully fascist kingsmen. It was a wild time.
Who got the mineral rights?
The liberals got the mineral rights. And by mineral rights, I mean everything.
Okay, and by liberals, you mean...
Liberals are usually middle-class people, Detective. Or the remaining gentry. The beneficiaries of the pre-revolutionary arrangement. Some were rich enough to stay with the Constitution, with monarchy. Big mistake. Others bet on the revolution. They were called the ultras, or ultra-liberals. They fared well.
How did the liberals win it all? How
Will.
did the liberals win it all?
Be
They
very,
didn't
very
win
quiet.
so much as survive. We were the last ones standing when the war ended. Everyone else got shot in the head, remember?
We're hunting Wibbawabs.
She's one of them. Of course.
If everyone got shot, who was there to surrender to?
To foreign intervention. The coalition. Those people really took the mineral rights.
Wait, you just said the liberals took everything.
The liberals took everything that wasn't nailed to the ground. The coalition, took the ground. The ocean, the laws, and the people.
She stamps her rubber-booted foot. Yeah.
Who are the Coalition?
The coalition of nations. Grad, Mesk, Vesper, Messina, Oranje, and Sur-la-Clay, the armed center of the world. They landed here and ended the revolution. It was the moralist thing to do.
Interesting that the F is silent.
It's pseudo-France, so of course half of the letters are silent.
Sur-la-Clay.
Exactly.
The Clees. And the F is... The F is pronounced, like, partially, but not completely, and like it's a different letter. Hello, VFig.
Hi, VFig.
Moralist?
The moralists believe in keeping everything exactly the way it is. They believe in mineral rights, and not shooting people in the head. At least not in the same manner and volume as the others do. They are the long-standing provisional rulers of Revachol now, the coalition government.
The rulers of Revachol, and also the world. These guys are strong.
This is their zone of control. They embolden the RCM with crumbs of the same law they took. Technically speaking, you are a moralist.
The color of moralism is blue. The official motto of Moral Intern, or Moralist International, is a blue forget-me-not, a piece of grey sky. Unofficial. For a moment, there was hope.
Not just technically, practically. For a moment, there was hope.
A devout man of the center. Hard to come by. It's good to have someone who takes a moderate approach to head shooting. In your line of work, I mean.
Oh, I see. We're gonna have the fence up our ass, huh? This is...
Yeah, we are gonna have the fence up our ass. People are gonna give me shit for being a fence sitter, but no, my mentality is that I'm not a fence sitter. I'm just fucking tired of just unending, mindless conflict all the fucking time. It's like we...
Countryside when?
Huh?
Nothing. Continue.
No, say it. I didn't hear you.
Countryside when, I asked.
Centrist. What?
Genocide. Century. Side.
Century. Yeah. I guess if you got rid of all of us, then you guys could just fight forever, couldn't you?
Yeah, that would be fun. No, there's this entire series of videos by a guy called J-Rec, which is a spin on that idea that, yeah, what if every single extremist ideology just united because everybody hates the centrists?
Well, probably some centrists would be smart enough to lie and be like, yeah, kill the centrists! I think that would be the biggest problem for centrists, would be, traitors.
Yeah, I can see that.
No, I'm not centrist because I'm looking out for myself. I'm centrist because I can't concede to just mindless amounts of hypocrisy and I don't know how to put it. I have trouble being intellectually dishonest to myself, and it probably plays off of my anxiety and an inability to decide when it seems like both options are fucked. And people go like, well, which option is less fucked? And it's like...
I don't think any extremist would say that they are intellectually dishonest on any level. I think it's just they do really lean in some way and just turn a blind eye to stuff on an instinctual level. It's not a conscious choice usually.
I think that's what it is, and that a lot of centrist people, I think, struggle to manifest that blind eye or to pull the wool over their eyes. But anyway, I'm derailing. When was this kerfuffle?
The turn of the century revolution? Don't answer it. It's a trick question. The revolution began in '02 on the Isla of Grad, though by the end, nearly the whole world had gotten involved.
Who started it?
It wasn't a who, but a what. A pandemic of Zaraat, a particularly virulent prion disease, which the authorities in Grad proved unable to contain. Then Marzolf came along and overthrew the government.
Prion diseases are always fucked. But yeah, it rings a bit different than 2 years later, doesn't it? Look, we at least got the vaccine. Prion disease, the fucking you can die.
Yeah, I
worst.
mean, I guess technically speaking, this is something a little less on point now, because
Yeah.
it wasn't even as bad as fucking Contagion.
Yeah.
What did this Zarath do?
It made people overthrow their governments.
Wow, really?
Of course not. It was a highly infectious microorganism that destroyed brain tissue. The actual causes of the revolution were material. The pandemic only provided the spark.
Where did it spread from there?
From Revachol and Grad? Not far. The world managed to cauterize itself. Marzolf's government was overthrown in '08, and the coalition crushed the Revachol commune 2 years later. It was the end.
What came next?
Why? You and I, officer. Our lives in the zone of control.
She spreads her arms, raincoat flipping in the wind. Also, yay, 8
Something
years.
tells you her life and yours are not that similar. Maybe it's because she has a boat and you have that necktie? A pair of pants?
Our lives are very different from each other.
No doubt. But we share the same time and position on the planet's crust. That counts for more than you think.
What is the zone of control?
A city-state divided into free market zones under the everlasting interregnum of the Coalition of Nations. And you, of course, the citizens' militia.
The clatter of typewriter keys fills the main hall of the reappropriated silk mill. Precinct 41. Chad Tilbrook presses enter. Outside, Officer Elfboy Williams slams the door of an armored motor carriage.
Is this about to really lead into another fucking telepathic monologue?
Yeah. Well, welcome to having a cop brain.
Okay, give me just a second to get situated, because I'm going to have to sit up in order to pay attention to this.
The zone
Sure.
of control
Or
is
maybe
the
not.
third
Or not,
incarnation
thank
of
God.
Revachol, after the failure of the suzerain and the commune.
What happened to the rest of the world?
Modernity. They developed the marvels of the inter-eastlery communication. Telematic milieus, radiation, colored plastics. Meanwhile, in Revachol West, the aftermath continues for the 5th decade.
51 minus 8 equals 43.
I can't believe this is a medium check. Like, if you were any dumber, you couldn't do this simple math.
Wait, you're saying it's been like this for 43 years?
Time flies.
What have we been doing all this time?
The 20s saw a decade of urban war, west of the river leveled, offshore platforms in flames. Still, it's regarded as an improvement on what came before. '08 to 19 was simply hell.
And after that?
The 30s? Things settled down in the 30s. Revachol East transformed itself into the world's largest tax haven, with the international community's blessing. For the first time in a long time, it seemed like things were going somewhere.
Were they?
No. It was a market mirage fueled by cocaine and quantitative easing. The 40s dispelled it like a cold splash, an Isla-wide hangover, you might say. And here we are.
She curtsies. What, feeling something about the mirage of an economic growth that bursts like a Miami coke-fueled dream in a disco?
Now, just thinking about this kind of thing and how much it applies to a larger... Oh, you know what? I just realized I forgot to turn something on.
Oh, the cowardice counter?
Yeah, the shame counter. Um. Okay. Oh fuck.
Welcome to reality, baby.
Oh wow. I didn't know that was all I needed.
But you
For
know the
her to be where she
basic political
is,
situation around
Wild
the world
Pines
now.
Group must have picked the right side.
Shame. Worse than death.
It really is.
Oh, it used to be the death counter. Actually, let me go ahead and rename that so I know.
Also, on the topic of like how this word is constructed and the language used, I think it's really telling that the police force skill is called the citizens militia because you just know the outro comes from a post-communist country because of that. Because that's what it was called under communism in every single of these countries, in Poland as well. And I've already heard some Americans going, "Wow, this is so quaint, like so original that you call police something that doesn't police." It's like, no, it's it happened in real world too, quite a lot, in fact.
Are we talking about times that we've called the police on somebody?
No, no, just that the police force is called by another name,
Yeah.
but
Okay.
it still serves as a police force. As I said, during communism here, it was the Polish citizens militia, for example. They weren't very citizens because we also had like a secret police that kidnapped people and burned documents. So naturally indicative as a name.
A nice old secret police. Always goes well.
Yeah.
Watch out for black vans.
My mom was told by my grandmother. I think I told you that if she won't behave and go to sleep when she was 8, that black Lada car would come and take her.
And that was the car that God,
Oh,
what the fuck was his name?
yeah, Jagoda, I think.
Yeah. The second in command or whatever to Stalin would roll up in.
Yeah. Also, my fiance just pointed herself that the same story was told to her when she was a child, when she wouldn't sleep. So, you know.
We should start telling our kids in the states stories of, hey, you better go to sleep or the FBI is gonna make you responsible for a mass shooting.
You know what? Why not? It would raise social awareness among the kids.
Well, I mean, the fucking Vegas shooting and the Nashville bombing and a whole bunch of other shit that happened recently. It's like they were such open and shut cases that were rushed through so fast. It's like, yeah, there's some shit glowing over there, to say the least.
Go to sleep, kids, or CIA will flood our neighborhood with crack.
Go to sleep, kids, or the government will foreclose our house.
Oh no. Government, the ultimate boogeyman. It persists into adulthood.
Escape to the country, return to traditionalism.
Become monkey.
Become monkey, sure. Which side was Wild Pines Group? If you don't eat your vegetables, the CIA will replace you with a puppet dictator. Which side was Wild Pines Group on?
They picked the winning side. That's why they're here, and others are not.
They got lucky.
Perhaps it wouldn't have turned out that way had I been in charge. I might have bet on the king and led the Pines to doom.
You would have sided with the king.
I would have sided with the cannons. If you'd seen the calibers of the things, you might have too. Perhaps it's better I was born when I was. 10 of the 14 Indo tribes got it wrong. Feld, Kupri, Tricentennial. So I suppose I would have been in good company.
So she would have died, but she would have felt good about it.
Yeah, she should have died with a lot of other big companies, basically, because the Indo tribes were like king-mandated monopolies. in this world. So like most capitalists chose the wrong side basically, and Wild Pines got lucky.
What would you have done differently?
Good question. What would you have done differently?
No, her first.
I asked you, who are you in all this?
And I asked you, past-less detective of the Citizens Militia, what insight has acute encephalopathy given to you?
Here's some wisdom, lady. Say the death thing.
I would have sought a medical solution. Sounds like Zaroth drove those people mad.
A cold creeps up your spine, reaching its tendrils up your neck, toward the back of your head.
So a quarter of humanity simply lost their minds. And how would you stop a prion, a complex folding protein, unlife, with a technology 50 years ago?
Taking no prisoners.
Oh no! I have made a wrong decision! Oh god, this is one of those moments.
Yes, it is.
I fucked up! Shivers was warning me and now I can't turn back! Oh, fuck. Alright, I guess
politics,
balls
baby.
exposed on stream. Oh no, oh no. Oh. Alright, guys, just give me a second. I need to think about this one.
Soul searching theme. Well, why am I playing the MGS song?
No. Ba-da-da-da-da. Da-da-da-dun-dun-dun-dun-dun-dun. Ba-da-da-da-da-da-da.
Or actually, we could just play Cornered from Ace Attorney. That would fit as well.
That would work too.
Come on, what is happening today? Channel's fucking dead.
I have narrowed it down to two choices.
Would you like to call a friend?
How would I deal with the sand pest?
I would have simply bombarded the town to preserve the polyhedron. Huh, simple. Medicum morbo ad hibere.
Alright, everybody, you're not gonna like this answer. Liquidate the rabid, prison-infested dogs who want to kill everyone with cleansing artillery fire.
The wind stops, and for a moment, there's silence. The charge dissipates into the dark water. All is quiet on the Martinez inlet. A dog barks. A gunshot echoes off the walls of some distant building. A woman's voice.
Pokma, thy cannons.
Liquidate? That's what King Philip kept screaming from the Sol Aurum. Liquidate! Liquidate!
She's a sing-song kind of way.
In the end, they liquidated the Sol Aurum, melted the palace cube down to gold and platinum, and sold it for bullets. Strange times.
She says almost wistfully.
Opinions expressed here do not reflect the position of the RCM.
Oh no!
And what is your official position, Lieutenant?
My position, ma'am? My parents got ripped to shreds in the revolution. I would have gone the same way. I was saved by being 2 years old. That's my position. The abattoir.
It really is a pathologic reference.
It is a pathologic reference?
No, I'm just kidding because this is the second time in my life I see the word abattoir used by anything. Oh, it's probably much closer to like the Spanish flu, right? And the conditions back then, right before World War II. Or or was it right before World War One? Sorry.
Yeah,
Didn't we get
so
a revolution?
people
What the
might
fuck?
not be ecstatic to hear about this, but my attitude when we were in the peak of the pandemic, probably around a month or so before this time last year, was the fact that we were not, for lack of better phrasing, rounding up those people who were significantly responsible for helping it spread. You know, people going to parties, people pretending that the disease wasn't going on. The fact that those kinds of people weren't being rounded up and locked up is part of my problem.
I see. That's not very humanism of you, my dude.
Sorry?
That's not very humanism of you, my dude.
Yeah, I guess that's because I was already really self-kept and did not go out a lot and did not, I mean, I've also been in the mentality of I wash my hands a lot, I wipe down surfaces and objects that I haven't touched, and I wasn't feeling very sympathetic for those people because they were essentially robbing me of my livelihood right as I was reaching a huge turning point in my life. So I held a lot of vitriol to those types. I'm not talking about, people who are getting it and there's nothing they could do about it. When I was thinking in the mentality of the comment being round up the rabid dogs and put them before open artillery fire, I'm thinking of the guy who's going, if I get corona, I get corona. Yeah, I would not have had a problem with it if that guy got put in front of a wall. Yes, locking other people up solves all the problems. You're right.
Works.
It wouldn't have solved the problem, but it would have made me feel better. Although I don't know that we are going to lose that much if I get corona guy gets locked up forever. I mean, hell, maybe his corpse would have been useful for an autopsy. Advance things medically.
The issue with prions is that, with viruses, you just wait it out until you get a solution to the problem to get like herd immunity through vaccination, for example, and that solves it. Prion diseases, you either kill the people who are sick, or that's about it. For example, the mad cow disease is a prion disease, right? It's a protein disease. There is no cure for this shit, at least not as far as we know in the 21st century so far, let alone this tech level presented in this game, right? Like this weird early 20th century kind of word.
It's complicated, to say the least.
That's life, baby.
In the case of if they were literally rabid and not able to control themselves, and yes, unfortunately they lost their humanity, and I'm in the mentality of, yes, it's not the most humanist thing, but I still also think it's the most merciful. Because, one, you're ceasing it from spreading. Two, you're putting them at, I want to operate from this mentality as well. We don't have enough concrete science and data to show what the state of the human consciousness is when it enters a state of rabidness. Because obviously the whole issue is that you can't come back from that, either because the bacteria kills you, or because it leaves you with brain damage that you can't return to your old self. Whether you want to operate on the idea that the consciousness still maintains itself to an extent and is limited by the brain, or if you want to operate from a spiritual perspective and the idea is that the soul is then trapped in that body, unable to be fully realized of what it actually is because of its organic form, not having the synapses make the kinetic or energy-based connections. Hold on just a second.
Holding on.
Abigail just started into a meowing tirade for some reason. I don't know why. So
Maybe she had differing opinions about the state of soul.
that's also
Yeah.
possible. But the whole idea is that if we go at it from a purely scientific standpoint, and that idea that the consciousness has deteriorated, they're either A, not human, or B, trapped in that body and unable to escape and are, trapped in their minds, in which case the merciful thing is to, if there is no means to salvage or save them or bring them back to their original selves, then to kill them.
I wouldn't go as far as killing. However, in a situation of a prion disease, if there was no effort to properly quarantine everyone and just stop it from spreading, yeah, the fuck you gonna do? People are gonna die.
Yeah. It's like, do you want more to die, or do you want to limit to the people who are, in a way, already technically dead?
Still, I would assume that at least in this situation, it was not just the fact that people were getting sick. It was that the entire government failed to contain the situation, and that contained with the material reasons that Joyce mentioned just led to a full scale. No, fuck you! You're getting the post right this moment. This can't continue. We need a different government to
I
solve
would
it.
like to clarify. If I were able to modify that question properly, I would say that, and then upon completing that artillery fire, I would give the order to have them turn around and fire on the officials that got us into this place in the first place.
Oh, yeah. I
Essentially,
can get that.
if I could think of the right way to put it, it would be that Fauci is the one giving the orders to the firing squad or something, and then as soon as we were done opening fire on the dead people or the significantly infected, they would then turn and open fire on Xi Jinping and the government, and I guess Donald Trump or something, in Minecraft, obviously. This is all speaking from a purely hypothetical. If it were comparable to that, if this was a disease that couldn't have been gotten under control. But that's about it. That's enough dwelling on this topic. That's enough about the times.
They are what they are. Who knows?
Fitting.
An afterbloom may yet come.
Nah, I'm okay with there never being an afterbloom.
Anyway, enough sentimentality. Is there anything else you want to know?
Not so fast. Who is she in all this? Ask her who she is. She owes you an answer.
Yeah, she does the question.
I want to know what you are.
She has.
She won't maneuver her way out of this one.
What are you?
I am the vilest of the vile. A traitor. A devourer of nations and infants.
She says with a flash of teeth, sorry.
I am an ultra.
It's sharp.
I love the number 2 so much.
What's an ultra?
An ultra-liberal. It's a type of liberal. From the revolution. It's, not the moderate kind.
Is this the difference between a liberal and a libertarian?
And ultra-liberals are pretty much libertarians of this world. It's zero taxation, absolute economic freedom, such and such.
Okay. Cool, I liberate pretty hard myself.
No, not like me. I am the nether creature of the Forbidden Swamp who pushed the king under a shit wagon and betrayed the revolution. Are you liberated enough to offer up your home on a plate for financial colonists? No, I think not. Tell me, now that I've uncoiled myself, do you find me frightening?
In her green eyes, you see a mixture of truth and self-satire. Decades of guilt and pride.
Biffix says she is the operative from Firefly. Unfortunately, I've never seen Firefly.
Neither have I. I intend to pick up and play the board game at some point, though, because I've seen the mechanics and it looks absolutely fantastic.
On the topic of board games, I'm getting Betrayal on the House of the Hill in a week for my birthday.
I simultaneously congratulate you and also say I'm so sorry.
Why are you sorry?
Uh, because I mean, you're obviously going to get a good enough couple of plays out of it, and it's going to be an engaging experience. But I have heard that, much like Root and a couple of other like super popular types of games, you hit a certain point where once you played it enough, you're like, I can see through these things, and my brain is broken because I can see a better game in here.
I mean, we play like every month or two, so I
Right,
don't think...
exactly. So you're
I
gonna.
think I'll get I think I'll get my mileage out of it. Yeah.
The better thing probably would be to say make sure to get the most out of it, enjoy it while it lasts.
Yeah. I mean, that's all board games, quite honestly. There is no board game that I would play indefinitely.
I don't know. I could see myself playing Roll for the Galaxy infinitely. I would say the same also applies for Quacks of Quedlinburg. That game, that press your luck mechanic of that game is that involved. I kind of want to answer, but only because you're charming, just to compliment her. But I don't know if the context of, hey, I am actually forgiving you, but I also want to compliment that you're charming. But I'm worried that it's going to be interpreted as, no, I don't actually want to forgive you, but I will because you're charming.
She's hot, therefore she is morally grey.
I forgive you, but only because you're charming.
A devil, who being of great charm and guile, sneaketh into the homes of the godly.
Beneath her waterproof raincoat and silk shirt is a body imbibed in numb 12 perfume. You are suddenly and intimately aware.
Vile devil, shake your...
You wanna fuck?
Why am I pausing at this?
This is a serious choice.
Like, I can't tell if she's actually coming on to me or not. And I don't know if answering number one will be shooting her down.
I mean, I can tell you that one will progress the dialogue forward because I played this as well before.
Okay.
I hope we're able to remain friends, despite my scaly bulk and my love of regicide and homosexuality. The loss of sovereignty was not our plan all along, I assure you. When the dust settled, the Liberals were the only ones left to clean up the mess. By virtue of their survival, they were handed enormous power to shape the future. This was all our last generation managed.
Would you have done something differently?
With due respect to our overlords, the eternal caretaker government that keeps Martinez a monument to the efficacy of its artillery.
While a gentle wind sweeps the streets in the rebuilt east, light drizzle washing it clean, lights go up and motor carriages circulate the tracks.
I would not have relinquished sovereignty to the Coalition. Not here in Martinez, and not in the Stella Maris or Delta Beachheads either. If not for my own sake, then for my daughters. We had an obligation to defend our sovereignty. We should have burned the whole Isola down rather than let them have it.
Oh, she is a die-hard libertarian.
Yep.
Dark orange flames reflect in her green eyes. An oil fire on the ocean.
You are a smart woman.
Perhaps. My intellectual vanity will be my undoing.
You're no dummy yourself.
So am I.
A smart boy getting smarter. One basic term of reality at a time.
You're a patriot.
Yes, I suppose I am. But I wouldn't be a patriot anywhere but here.
Seditious talk, man.
The lieutenant puts down his notes and gives her a look.
You have daughters?
Yes. Whatever else I am, I'm also a mother and a wife. Now, shall we return to reality?
Oh yeah, we did this, right. I forgot.
Oh, shit.
Plus 12, yeah.
Jamais vous thought complete.
I mean, these are white checks, even if you fail them, you can return to them, so...
What is all of this? The scent, the sound, the air.
What world is this?
What world? The only one, I suppose. The world of matter. And its pale antipode.
The fading pearls of her eyes look to the sea.
The camera of her mind glides over the surface of the water.
And what do you see?
Great bodies of water. Forest-covered surfaces. Clusters of light where the cities lie. You've seen the montage. We all have. This world is enough.
Concludes.
There is a term of endearment they coined for it, in the DeLorean century, when humanity was high on this world, discovering more and more of it, these archipelagos included.
And what was that?
Elysium.
Elysium. The world needs a term of endearment.
It does. There are those who would call it hell.
What is hell? V-Fig, you son of a bitch! You were making a fucking allusion to this.
Oh, yep.
A term of hatred that originates, like many such things, with the Mesk petro-fascists.
I don't feel like I've got the whole... Sorry,
so
go
much
ahead.
oil that... Did you ever have so much oil that you were a fascist? I don't even know what petrofascist is supposed to mean. I'm still confounded by this term. Actually.
Maybe they're literally drinking the gasoline.
Maybe.
Oh, V-Fig's claiming that he's never seen this conversation. Alright, well, I guess that's just serendipitous then, huh?
Okay then. Also,
don't-
this term does not exist in real life, so I assume it is petrol and fascism, not some other meaning.
Alright, narrator, if you will, I would like to ask, if I choose number 2, is that going to cut off the conversation early?
I think so, yes.
Okay, so then, obvious choice.
Oh, you want a picture of the world? There is no complete set yet, dear. They're having some trouble reaching orbit.
How come?
Great things are difficult to achieve. For now, we're viewing the world from the inside, sideways.
Inside sideways? What shape is this world, then?
We used to think it was a sphere, but that is beginning to look less and less likely by the day. You wouldn't know it from the tabloids, but the ORG nations have been launching weather balloons into the lower ionosphere since the 30s.
ORG, Occident Revichol-Grad.
There's a steadily increasing trickle of images. Between the big three scientific contributors, they're piecing together a dark grey corona.
A dark gray corona?
Yes. Pale covers 72% of the surface. There are grey flares and prominences, even arcs above entire isolas. The images are blurry, but if there was a sphere in there, it certainly looks like it fractured a long time ago.
A cold fear seeps into you.
What are you telling me?
You seem to be spooked. Please don't be.
Her voice becomes wholly calm. She lets the moment pass.
This is a bit of a moment of fourth wall break in which I'm kind of bleeding over into Harry's position.
They say there is a rarefied envelope of matter surrounding the darkened disk of our planet. That is, if we are still living on a planet. Or, to speak more plainly, imagine vast swathes of land disrupted by nothingness. I am sorry, dear. It must sound quite terrifying through the acute encephalopathy. Even scientific positivism isn't entirely convinced about what we're dealing with here. But this is one of the greatest questions of our time. Maybe when they get the complete set together, it will jolt us out of our rut, bring us together, however naive it may sound.
Vivek says this planet is dark bramble, maybe, sorta? I always figured it's more like an exploded planet and the bits of matter are separated by nothing. Basically.
I did not expect one of the biggest facts about this game to be that it is in a technically sci-fi setting.
Sorta. It's not like it's high sci-fi, but it is certainly...
It's low-key sci-fi.
Yeah, it's not the kind of world as... the same kind of world as we have right now here on Earth. It's built completely different.
God, what would be another... I'm trying to think of something that would come even close to this, but... maybe something like Kentucky Route Zero, perhaps?
Haven't played that yet. It's fantasy. It's just not, sword and board, but...
yeah, KRZ's got a pseudo-supernatural element to it, but it's very subdued. And I think that's what I mean to get at. Okay. A fractured corona doesn't feel like it's going to bring anyone together.
You have misimagined it. I don't have the power to convey to you the effect and geometry of the images that depict our world from below low orbit. It's like the crowning of the world. It's insane. Very disco. You'd love it.
Well, if you say it's disco...
See? Everyone finds something worth holding on to in this world, however wasted its opportunities.
The cold seeps into you. The air is heavy with 80% humidity.
Oh god, that's like difficult to breathe in.
Suddenly, you're conscious of yourself standing there, on whatever this all is.
Oh no.
Your arms hang down by your sides.
Oh no, the existentialism is creeping in!
The lieutenant observes you both, silently. He adjusts his glasses.
What is this acute encephalopathy that you keep talking about?
It's a neurological disorder caused by a lack of vitamin B in the brain. Symptoms include a retrograde amnesia. It's quite serious. You should get yourself checked out.
And what causes encephalopathy?
Well, it's either bariatric surgery or long-term alcohol use.
It's definitely the drinking.
She nods slowly. What this boils down to is, this reality thing is stupid. Blow this joint, grab a bottle, and drain that shit right down your throat.
Shut up, electrochemistry!
Wait.
Electrochem is really
This
your worst instinct.
reality thing is the only game in town. It's probably in your interest not to blow it.
Yeah, I wipe that urge from my mind and I get back to reality immediately.
She stares at you, head tilted to the side, with a slightly concerned look on her face.
You said pale. What is pale?
The pale is not, technically speaking, part of reality.
Yes. Also, I think we've had enough excitement for today. We do have a case to attend to.
Of course, Lieutenant. Let's try something else.
I don't want to. I want to know what the pale is.
I don't think your colleague would appreciate that. He has already been so patient with this whole exercise. Let's continue with something else, all right? You can ask about anything else in the world. Anything.
This is not going to happen with the lieutenant present, unless you can convince him to step aside.
Okay, what is this? I spread my hands outward.
A bird? A sphenicid? A flightless bird of the polar regions?
Keep guessing.
Some sort of krill hunter? No, wait. You're an ancient ruin. A symbol of hubris and decay. Half submerged in some salty sea.
Are you saying I'm ruined?
Of course you're not, my dear. I'm just terrible at guessing games.
Oh, okay. I meant, what is this place here?
Ah. This is the pier of Rue de Saint-Ghislain, 33A, where the tenants have been kind enough to rent me a slot. Or two.
What
Looks
is
wrong.
Rue de Saint-Ghislain 33A?
A pre-revolutionary tenement. Old buildings are called tenements, you see. And new buildings, bâtiments. After les bâtiments nouveaux. But 33A and 33B are not nouveaux. They're old.
She looks up to at the crumbling facade.
This one used to be 8 to 10 stories tall. A real high-rise by the standards of the last century. Built to mirror the skyscrapers across the bay in the Delta. That was before the war, of course.
Who lived in them?
Mostly the urban middle class, I believe. This was once primo real estate, before the cannons lopped 4 or 5 stories off.
Splat, splat.
Sorry. From a dilapidated balcony, seeing the skull gives Joyce the evil eye, her red paintbrush held to her throat.
You could be wrong, but from here it appears as if she's running the brush across her throat in a soaring motion.
Wonderful.
Everything said he never got what Kim's problems with the pile discussion. This will be said if you make him step aside, I think.
Good idea. Just ask him. He won't make a scene.
Kim, can I talk to the man alone for a second?
Fine.
He steps away with his notes.
See? What can he do? You're a grown man.
Now, Joyce, what is the Pale?
Are you sure you're sure? Your colleague seemed adamant.
Yeah, it's fine. Go ahead.
Okay. The Pale is the most dominant geological feature of the world, Detective. The separative tissue between the islas. It is the inter-islary mass.
And what is an isla again?
Isla is a Messinian word for a continent of matter, enveloped on all sides by the Pale. Also, isolation, or landmass. We used to believe there was only one. In the last 4 centuries, we have discovered 7.
Okay, just to clarify, because I feel like maybe people who might watch this are not, or maybe even you, I don't know if you would. You know that Isla is a real word, right?
Yeah, of course.
Okay. Because they're playing it off as Messinian, and it's like, no, that's a real word. I don't know what language it's native or rooted in, but I know I've heard it before because I remember hearing it a bunch when I was younger.
From what I see, it's mostly like a name. It's a company name. It's a commune in Alps, for example. But it does come from the same root as isolation, to isolate.
Well, and it
Nothing.
also has significant ties to the word island and singular, surrounded by water, small
I mean,
landmass.
yeah, island is also isolated from the land by sea, right? So
Right, yeah.
Same logic.
Windy, Seol, Samara, Ilmara, Grad, Katla, and this, Insulinde.
And Insulinde is...
An oceanic isla. It comprises mostly of water. Muindi is the largest, Katla the coldest, Insulinde the bluest. What can I say? Each is perishing and dear.
I'm concerned about the use of the word perishing there. Okay, what is the Pale like?
Achromatic, odorless, featureless. The Pale is the enemy of matter and life. It is not like any other, or anything in the world. It is the transition state of being into nothingness.
Is it here? I look around.
No, Detective. We're safe. It begins there, 6,000 kilometers to the north, and even more to the south, east, and west. You are in the middle of the Isla.
As your gaze instinctively turns north, a small black pit opens up in your stomach.
6,000 kilometers from the end of the world.
Yes. That is enough. Many cities are built much closer.
And I point north. There?
An uproar of matter, darling. Rising into the pale. Rolling. Evaporating even. A great vision. The area of transition between the world and the pale is called porch collapse. Imagine a grey coronal mist, cold vapor marked by spores of an opportunistic microorganism, a mold that's adapted to grow at the edge of the unrest. It's the most disco thing you will ever see.
You hear your pulse rise. The air feels caustic and cold suddenly.
To be perfectly honest, I still think this world is probably much bigger than Earth, accounting for that, because the circumference of our planet is 40,000 kilometers. So it's 6,000 to nothingness, and then there's 6 more bits of matter out there. It's pretty big in totality then.
This sounds like it is a superplanet afflicted by a metaphysical abnormality that is manifesting as a organic and inorganic force that is literally consuming the land. And that is really fucking weird. And I am just going to go ahead and say now, this is making me believe that the shit that is going on in my head is not coincidence or insanity. It would be very interesting if there is... I'm kind of banking on / hoping that some big revelation is going to come up at some point that I have... Yeah, VFig's saying Dark Bramble. It definitely feels like there's going to be a build-up to some sort of grand awakening, if you will.
Okay.
What are its physical properties?
It's difficult to describe, or even measure. Something whose fundamental property is the suspension of properties. Physical, epistemological, linguistic. The further into Pale you travel, the steeper the degree of suspension, right down to the mathematical. Numbers stop working. No one has yet passed the number barrier.
The number barrier.
It may be impossible.
Yeah, math stuff stops working. Straight up.
What the fuck does that mean?
It just means basic laws of reality no longer apply after a certain point.
So the world outside the Isolas is Hypercube.
Oh god. I suppose. I'll be honest, I never read the Hypercube theory. I only saw people reacting.
No, not Hypercube theory. I'm talking about the movie Cube 2 Hypercube.
I thought you mean... Oh no, it was called Time Cube, sorry. I confused the terms.
Have you seen the Cube movies?
I've seen the first Cube movie.
Okay, the second one is really fucking weird and wild. A lot more grounded in terms of its plot structure, but visually and conceptually much more weird and bizarre.
Okay.
Anyway. If we're surrounded by Pale, how do you get from Isola to Isola?
Oh, it is so difficult for us.
A squall of birds. Hardware operating in the harbor. Firm. Self-evident.
It is possible to force dimensions on the Pale. In modern times, we can even compress its latitude, bouncing radio waves from one end to the other, shortening the path. But it is still hard for humans to navigate the Pale without getting lost, or having our minds damaged.
The Pale can damage the mind.
Extensively.
How?
Some say the damage stems from extreme sensory deprivation. Others argue that Pale somehow consists of past information that's degrading, that it's rarefied past, not rarefied matter. They call it the blend over of the self. The Pale does not only suspend the laws of physics, but also the laws of psychology, maybe history even. The human mind becomes over-radiated by past.
Who says and who argues?
Who says and who argues?
The logical positivists say, the dialectical materialists argue.
And what does this over-radiation feel like?
It feels terrible. Absolutely terrible. International standards strictly limit civilian travelers to 6 days of pale exposure per year.
It's more for her. Way more.
You're not a civilian passenger.
No, nameless detective of the Citizens Militia. I am a member of the Entropanetic Business Class. I'm cleared and trained for 22 days of pale transit annually.
Someone else you've met may have been exposed as well. The strange grey-haired woman in her lorry.
She is called the Pale Driver.
Do lorry drivers pass the pale?
Yes. Carried in the hulls of airships. It's a horrific job. Automation will abolish it soon.
That poor woman must have stories to tell, like you wouldn't imagine.
Oh my god, this game just keeps fucking opening up.
Yep.
Are you over-radiated?
Up to my gills, officer.
An acidic smile on her lips. It's getting worse every year.
What is entropanetic?
Entropanetics is the scientific study of the pale, or a recent iteration of it by way of grad. The study of the pale reaches back 6,000 years. The Pericarnassians called it the Western Plain.
They had not traveled the entire circumference of the Pericarnassian Super E Solar. It was not merely in the west, it was everywhere, even then, surrounding them.
Did they cross it, the Western Plain?
There are signs of pre-modern crossings. Successful navigation of the pale relies not just on technical know-how, but intensive psychological preparation. Some of these tactics have been known for thousands of years.
What has entropanetics changed then?
Nothing. We remain powerless before the pale. The only real advance in pale transit is the speed with which an aerostatic craft can pierce it. Less exposure leads to less effects later.
Aerostatic craft.
Hybrid airships, detective. Conventional rotors or jet engines no longer add velocity after the point of reference for motion is suspended, once you've crossed from near pale to far pale. In essence, we throw them in and they come out the other end. If we throw them precisely.
And if we do not?
Then they don't.
Gone, like a skipping stone beneath the surface.
Simple, simple.
How much pale is there compared to the world?
The pale outweighs reality 2 to 1. There is more pale than there is matter, and the ratio is slipping.
Of course it is. Because it wouldn't be a fucking... Oh my god. Slipping how? To our detriment or...
What do you think, detective?
Looks in the eye.
It's growing. There is more and more of the pale.
Precisely. One of the few measurable effects of the pale is that it is expanding at an unknown rate. An intuitive conclusion of that development is that one day the pale will cover everything. But this sort of talk is mostly left to extremists.
It's not extreme at all. It's going to happen.
Most people, and indeed most private and government sector organizations, entire civilizations and religions even, find handy ways to ignore or downplay that knowledge. I suggest you do the same.
Off we go. You see the hanged man's mouth open.
Off we go into the wild pale yonder.
One and all. They say pale is death, but for the universe.
Why should we just leave, and the world get left behind?
I was gonna say, the pale is a fucking metaphor for entropy.
Entropy, climate change, any sort of apocalyptic event for our world that you can think of, honestly. Man-made or not.
Alright. Let's return to reality, shall we?
Yes, sweet reality. But before we do, tell me, detective, Is this the first time you're hearing this? Do you really not remember anything?
I am getting a sense of who I am, but no, I didn't know about any of this.
Beyond curious. Tell me, what do you think of the Pale?
Okay, I'm
Okay,
gonna
like
need a
options.
moment. Right.
So Vivek says he tires of talking history book lordoms. I always like them. Maybe it's all the time I spend in academia, but they don't seem unnatural to me at all. Like talking for hours about concepts that somebody doesn't understand in detail is understandable for me.
Sprinkling in attention-grabbing dialogue and grammar here is definitely
Oh,
helping
yeah.
me stay hooked. And I
Joyce
think
has a
those-
way. Joyce has a
Yes.
way with words for sure.
Joyce is, for lack of better phrasing, I think doing a great job at not only being her own character, but being a means by which the writers can speak to the player.
I'm never like averse to lordoms personally, but I know a lot of people are.
I'm having a hard time deciding between 2 and 9.
Well, that's
Who
more
am
important
I to
here.
think anything of it?
Her eye stands, crowsfeet radiated from them. She observes you, your bloodshot eyes and swan face.
Your ailing constitution, sweaty forehead, the beads there, and your heavy breathing.
You really didn't know. This does not spell good for the investigation, Detective. If you don't know even this, then...
She stops mid-sentence.
Yes, I'm in serious... I am in serious trouble here.
Your colleague, Lieutenant Kisaragi, is competent. I checked up on him. And you have me. I will try to assist you in any way I can.
I am wondering if Joyce is piecing together that maybe there is another sentience within Harry.
I don't think that's that extreme. It's just that Harry's mind is very fractured. And,
Yeah,
well, he is a complex person, as we all are.
yeah. I mean, I'm not going so far as to say like Joyce is trying to break the fourth wall. I'm just saying like she is really doing. She really seems to be prepared to make the leap that whoever Harry used to be, he's not there anymore, or at least Harry is only Harry in name at this point.
Some of that assurance is meant for herself, as much as it's meant for you. She must have a lot on the line here.
Even if we have to do it one basic term at a time.
You just like. Also, I just want to say that people change. It's just that it's all not usually this drastic.
Right, exactly. Exactly. That's what I'm getting at. I don't think it of the mentality of Harry is dead and gone. I think it in the mentality of this. I would equate to the guy who was working on the railroad and had the spike go through his head.
Yeah, like Phineas Gage. True.
Yeah, Harry is a Phineas Gage, exactly.
Good. You have not passed out from it. Perhaps I worried for nothing. Are we still on the reality lowdown, or should we do actual police work now?
That
So,
was
yeah, Kim,
fucking insane, Kim!
Yes, well, the rest of us have dealt with it for thousands of years, so...
He looks around, a little uncomfortable now.
He didn't want to talk about it because it's a genuinely uncomfortable topic for him.
Yeah. Also, you collapsed by reading your ex's letter. Maybe you're not ready to handle the fact that the world is fucking dying.
I collapsed when reading my ex's
Didn't we do that?
No!
Okay, my bad. Sorry.
Well, now that you pseudo-spoiled it for me, we have to go down this, and you're going to tell me how to go find this thing, because I want to know now.
Sure.
No, to be clear, I'm not upset that you told me about that. That's more like I'm excited now. You are going to You are going to grab my hand after we are finished with this dialogue and drag me to where this is because I want to know now.
Sure.
Okay.
You will have to deal with it too, the lieutenant thinks. This is why I didn't want you to know.
All right.
So this is the issue with not only just doing this with you, but also watching Wallace Let's Play and playing it myself. I get confused.
It's all starting to like collapse together. You can't tell. Would you say the pale is creeping into your mind with this LP?
Oh, but the pale is a permanent fixture in my mind. My memory usually doesn't reach further in the past than 8 years.
The past 8 years?
Yeah, like anything further into the past than the last 8 years is just fuzzy and maybe 2 or 3 events, and the rest is just nothing. I don't remember people. I don't remember places. It's just it's not important anymore, so I don't keep it in there anymore.
Oh, thanks,
Also,
JW Google FTW 02159873.
Disco, bigfollows.com.
Yeah, I'll go get us some big disco follows. Yeah, wow, that's very weird. I can definitely recall something over 10 years ago. I can recall a general structure and shape of the house I used to live in before the one my grandma died at, or lived in before she died at. I remember like the shape of her massive, oversized oxygen tank that she had. I remember the carpeted flooring of all of it. I can remember a good bit of details.
Remember the the houses I lived in, the like room layout, but not, for example, I don't know the names of the streets or the people who live there, or like any of my teachers or classmates from school. This is all gone.
No, I can remember certain particular classmates. That's for sure. I can remember the high school I went to. I can remember the junior high I went to, the middle school. I can remember the elementary school that I went to.
I remember like the corridors and classrooms more than I remember the actual people. And it's kind of fucked, I think. With the sole exceptions, of course, of the people I kept in contact with. But
Gotcha.
anything beyond that, yeah.
All right, let's get to work, Lieutenant.
Good luck, detectives.
She nods you goodbye.
Oh boy.
Rigorous self-critique. Here it is. Hard facts from the man you are. You once jerked off in the locker room and were caught. You held a young woman by the arm and kept her in your apartment for 20 minutes against her will. That's right. These are not flights of fancy. These are real deeds, Harry, emerging from the darkness of your past. You tried shooting a fleeing suspect in the foot, but hit him in the pelvis, crippling him for life. And, above all, you let life defeat you. All the gifts your parents gave you, all the love and patience of your friends, you drowned in a neurotoxin. You let misery win, and it will keep on winning till you die, or overcome it.
Jesus
Failure scare
Christ,
you.
game!
Yeah. Sorry, cop. Sorry, cop remembers all the things, why he's sorry. And there are reasons to be sorry, especially if you live as long as this guy did.
Fuck, man! Alright, well, good benefits there. I now have positive gains on failures.
Yeah, and the cap for pain threshold is raised to 6.
Hooray!
Yay!
I guess. Alright,
Oh shit, we got 3 skill points from this dialogue alone. Holy shit, that
yeah,
was a lot.
I'm gonna conserve those for now.
Oh, that's fair.
Make truce with Smoke? A man from Heimdall book? Helmdall?
Heimdall.
Who put those clothes in the trash? Ask Kuna.
Conan Lot.
Right.
I think if you've still got some things with Joyce if you want to. But if you want the thing I mentioned, open the ledger in your equipment.
Okay, what did you say about Joyce?
I think you still have some questions to her. At least she's some person
You're
in the
back.
train.
Good. What can I
Oh
help
yeah,
you
I'm
with?
not gonna worry about those for now. I'll talk to her about them later.
Yeah, she'll be around.
Okay.
It's in the interact. There it is.
It's the ledger you found in the trash. A cabbage of papers hanging from the board, with the
Yeah,
permanent drawer
if you
inside.
pass the interface
It's
check,
barely held
that's
together
it.
by a clip, then made complete by the faint smell of urinal cleaner.
There we go. There's a chance.
Wait, if I fail it and I level it up, I can attempt it again, right?
Yes.
Okay, so then I'm not gonna spend another point. Alright, let's give it a shot.
Is not what you
There we
end
go.
up doing. You squeeze the plastic to slide it open, but nothing happens. Then you bend it some, then crack it. The goddamn thing is stuck. A hot flash of rage comes over you. For a moment there, before it recedes, you feel as though you might just squeeze a tear of anger out of your duct. Makes you wonder, why? The ledger quivers in your hand. As it shakes, the pages rustle. This pathetic mess
First,
suddenly afraid of
try
you for
to
some
read the
reason.
case files.
Arson, petty theft, spousal abuse, handwritten
the-
logs
the-
on
the
dozens of
logic.
investigations. You don't exactly close them, so much as distance yourself. The acidic stench of rotting food is rubbed off on the cellulose. It now forms the base of the experience. This base surrounded by a faint air of spoiled meat, the stuff of death itself, and then sprinkled liberally with the citrus zest of toilet cleaner. You know,
Yummy.
like the bits they put into public piss bowls, probably called Fermi Discrete, or Axel, or something. At some point in its journey, the ledger has seen the inside of a public toilet.
And which toilet would that be, Perception?
Remember when I said the smell of the upstairs bathroom was so rank they should have sent a poet to describe it?
Is sprinkled liberally with the citrus zest of toilet cleanser a line this poet might have used?
Why, yes it is, among many other things. This cleaning tablet is used by the whirling in rags. Perhaps that's where the ledger was dropped in the toilet. By you.
As I said, don't revert and try to read the case files first, because if I remember correctly, they will give you a
Arson,
bonus.
petty
Not this
theft.
one, the logic check.
Too complex.
Arson, petty theft. You don't exactly close
Oh, right,
them,
sorry.
so much as distance yourself. Yes, at
There we
last,
go.
you find a way to piece them together using the alphanumeric code on the margin. HDB 41, date of initialization and time of arrival on the scene, followed by the title. For example, HDB 41120111700, the next world mural.
Weren't those Officer Precinct
Why, yes, your precinct number is 41.
and HDB?
Every last alphanumeric in the files begins with it. And these are your case files. It's safe to say HDB are your initials.
Okay, but I know neither of these are right.
Yep.
Or are they?
Do you feel like a Horus Debbie Berenger?
No. But
Okay,
Ram Darjan Binzakin seems slightly plausible.
Well then.
I don't know what to say to that.
I got nothing here either. Logic really isn't the best faculty to have this conversation with.
Happy
But it's the
disco
one you
boy.
got. So sorry. Yeah. We're staying out of this business for now. HDB is bad news from yesteryear. It's shit, honcho.
How long does it take to read a case?
It takes about half an hour to piece one together, using the system you've devised. Where do you want to start?
We got some light reading. Also, didn't we talk with Everard already? Because I remember you kicked Measurehead in the face.
Yeah, we did, and we kind of told him to go fuck himself.
Oh yeah, that's right. But yeah, I think he still used your last name, so it's surprising that this was an option here. Yeah.
Yeah, it is weird. Oh yeah, it's Harry Dubois. What am I fucking
Yeah.
thinking? Why is it not giving me the option then?
That's weird, yeah.
Maybe there's some dialogue flag that I needed to get from him, and oh well, whatever.
Might be a bug.
Alright, hope everybody's ready for some light reading.
This one is relatively easy to reconstruct. Overnight on 1202, a graffito, nay, a mural, appears on an 8-story tenement overlooking central Jamrock. The building is a sparsely inhabited ghost tower, part of a failed real estate development called Grand Couronne. Cause of failure: rent too high. The mural is enormous. 2 silhouettes, a man and a woman, are kissing. The text cut into their form reads, "True love is possible only in the next world. For new people, it is too late for us. Wreak havoc on the middle class."
The couch is in an unexpected location. Sounds extremely Dirk Gently.
I don't think I know what Dirk Gently means.
Yeah, neither do
I'm
I.
afraid.
People call it that thing and that fucking thing.
Is that a Hunter S.
It's
Thompson
visible for
thing?
miles. In 2 days, the station's complaints desk gets clogged with requests to remove the bummer. You and your partner are assigned to the case. The graffito crew is easy to track down. Only the bell lectures have the literage of industrial paint to cover the surface. One of the graffito artists is rumored to be rich. They take responsibility for the execution, but not the design. The ideologue of the Next World mural, as the crew calls it, remains an unknown.
Before we go on, Dirk Gently is a fictional detective character made by Douglas Adams, aka the same guy who wrote Hitchhiking Through Galaxy.
Oh.
So, this brand of humor.
Extremely black, grim, and semi-pessimistic.
I wouldn't really say pessimistic, I would say a bit absurdist, but also tackling rather dark themes in this absurd matter.
Maybe
Like,
with an air of apathy of sorts.
Yeah, have you ever read or watched Hitchhiker's Guide Through Galaxy?
I've watched it.
Yeah, begins with the air of exploding, and the only entry in the Galaxy Encyclopedia we get is insignificant. The expanded version is relatively insignificant.
Yeah, I remember. That's why I said apathetic. There's a very not misanthropic, melancholic feel to that writing.
I think it's the British Lovecraft.
Yeah.
Honestly.
Yes, that's a good way to put it. Okay. Wait, do I ever find out who came up with it?
The case files do not show you finding the author of the design.
Read on.
The crew agrees to clean up after themselves. However, your partner, JV, is against the removal, citing public support for conservation. This leads to a debate in Precinct 41, which then spreads to the streets of Jamrock, ending in a rare plebiscite organized by you and the rest of Row 3.
Ah, yes, JV, John Francois.
Yes.
How much of these case files do I have to read through?
If that's too much for you, it's a very specific one. I can punch you towards after we finish with this one.
Okay, good.
The 9,000 people subjected to the mural's message, all of Lakeside, Central Jamrock, and Villa Lobos, plus half of the eminent domain, participate in the vote. Although the case begins with what appears to be a lot of rambling on the streets as to how juvenile and stupid the mural is, given a choice between two options.
Keep the mural, it is right.
A staggering 78% of voters choose to keep it. Turns out the opposition were a loud minority, and that love truly is possible in the next world for new people, and it is too late for us.
I like it, but can't we wreak havoc on other nations instead?
Did someone ask what you believe in, man with the smelly toilet ledger? What do you want to tackle next, or are we done?
Okay, the one you need is the unsolvable case, number 2.
AKA Leslie and Burke, AKA the public indecency drunk and the property damage drunk, is a cursed case. It has been passed from unsuspecting officer to unsuspecting officer for 10 years. On January 29, the unsolvable case made its way to you. Why you accepted it, it is unclear. Every officer, and indeed most civilians in general, know it's unsolvable. You were so drunk, you didn't remember what it was when you signed on. That, or you were high. Leslie will always take his pants off when he's drunk. Burke will always trash everything. It's just what they do. It is their nature. You cannot change the nature of a man, and you can't lock them away because public indecency and small-scale property damage are not punishable by incarceration. The only way for Leslie to stop flashing his genitals to bypassers and for Burke to stop dismantling signage and rear-view mirrors would be for them to stop drinking alcohol, which, in their 40s or 50s, it's hard to tell because of their distorted features, is a medical improbability on par with you ceasing to produce the expression.
What can change the nature of man?
Couldn't we just keep them off the streets?
You would think that, but you're wrong. Where's the fun in exposing your genitals or breaking stuff in your own home? No, Leslie and Burke are on the corner of Main Street and Perdition, because that's where the action is.
But this sounds like a metaphor or an Aesop fable I've heard before.
What can change the nature of man, or this story in general?
The corner of Main Street and Perdition.
Never
That's
heard
not
of it, I'm
that's not a unique phrase. That's something I've heard before, and it usually has something to do with making a analogy of saying that somebody is at the threshold of their livelihood, and if they don't make the right turn, they are going to destroy their lives.
Can you keep yourself off the streets?
Proceed.
Threatening fines, dragging them to the station, locking them up in the hellholes they live in, locking them up in the station, hypnotherapy, even trying to get the local gang of Zemyaki to take them out. The Zemyaki gave them ethanol, so Burke and Leslie would expose and rampage even harder. You tried it all, and still the complaints wouldn't stop, as they hadn't stopped for 10 years. It's plain to see from the files that you, Satellite Officer JV, and Special Consultant TH had more important cases to attend to. You uncover cross-reference to several ongoing investigations, each brought to a standstill every time you drive down Main Street. Because there they are, on the corner of Perdition. And what is Leslie doing?
Check. Also, I think the phrase you're looking for is Road to Perdition. It's the name, I think, of the film.
Yeah.
Apparently.
Leslie is the one committing public indecency.
Good, you're learning. If the files are to be trusted, that's all there is to it. That and Burke breaking things, and the fact that they're both drunk. But then again, so are you. The case becomes considerably less comic one day when Burke takes a swing at your ledger. He must have it confused with the property he likes to damage. But the joke's on him. You're drunk out of your mind on potent Pilsner. You slam the hardened plastic board in his face. Then you proceed to beat him unconscious with it. In the process, the ledger sustains damage. The compartment within reserved for permeable documents, is jammed shut. You stop your assault on the now unconscious Burke to open it, but are unable to do so. The officer began to cry, reports Leslie, who, at this point, is tending to Burke. Kill them. They broke it.
Okay, Half-Light. Why don't you go take a seat and just mellow out?
He came at us, and at us. I think he was trying to kill Burko. While trying to kill Burko, you slowly come around. The permeables compartment is open. You've smashed it open on poor Burko's kneecaps. The good news is, Burke can't walk anymore. Can't get out of his apartment, an invalid. With Burke to tend to, Leslie cuts back on the indecent exposure. Maybe he flashes his genitals to Burke. Who knows? But both drunks are off the street. The complaints stop. The unsolvable case is solved. Which is also why the officer responsible narrowly escapes a disciplinary hearing. The end. Do you want to read another one?
I can revisit this.
Not much has changed in the meanwhile. A bunch of sodden papers still sags from the clipboard.
Alright, let's
There we
crack
go.
it on my knee like I did to Burke.
Just relax.
Yes.
The two sides of the board are slightly misaligned, like a drawer that's come off the slides. All you need to do is bend the plastic on your knee. Slowly. The slides snap back into place. It should be possible to just,
Now
Slide
you know
forward.
what caused it.
Without resistance or sound, the two panels move against each other. The compartment is now open.
What's
Also,
inside?
before we continue, I just want to say another success of the police, crippling a man for life. Yeah!
Yay! Cops are awesome.
Thank you, Reverential Citizens Militia. Thank you, Officer Dubois.
2 ticket stubs and a handmade postcard.
Hold on a minute.
One of these
Wait a
things is
minute.
not
One of
like
these
the
things
other.
is not like the other. Hold on. Why is option 3 here?
Why, indeed. You can check.
I can check.
You can check.
The words just crossed your mind somehow.
Who are they for?
Who do you think? You.
Okay. I pick up the ticket stubs.
2 octopuses are smiling, reaching their tentacles toward each other in the colored pencil drawings. The tickets permit access to the zoo in Revershall East. The aquarium costs extra. They let you go there too. You should go and kill yourself there.
What is going on here? I pick up the card.
Thin wax paper has been glued to a piece of cardboard. Sounds like leaves rustling when you pick it up. You see violet flowers, floral patterns, patches of glue.
I smell it first.
It smells of chewing gum, apricot flavored. A touch of cinnamon, the end of summer. You think the label says tutti frutti.
I open it.
Familiar handwriting lines the inside of the card. Looped, round letters in a woman's hand. A young woman in her 20s. There is care, effort, and a smile. You think. Although that is not something you can read from someone's handwriting. Harry, it begins. You're already reading. I wanted to write you a letter so you can read it when you wake up. Maybe it will make you happy. Throw it away, please.
I keep reading.
Your hand shakes, holding the card. Every morning when I step out and you're asleep behind me, it says, I find a little piece of sadness in me. I carry it in my chest, down Voyager Road. Every step I take, it grows. By the time I reach the fuel station, it has filled me entirely. I step onto the light rail and look back. Sparks fall from the bow collector. I know it will be like this until late afternoon, when I get off the 42 and walk back to you.
I keep reading.
You. Every step I take will get lighter. It almost makes me run. Sometimes I do. I can't believe I met you. I can't believe the happiness I feel with you. You have a vast, vast soul, and I will always, always, always come back to it. Kisses, kisses, kisses. You feel the air sucked out of your lungs and the blood sucked out of your head. Everything around you gets dark. Small white dots appear. You feel the ledger slip from your hand. No, no, hold on.
I hold on.
To what? There's nothing.
Detective, is everything all right?
I fall sideways.
Well, everyone, that has been this Elysium.
Are you fucking kidding me?
I hope you enjoyed this short Let's Play.
That was a fucking title card?
Sure
There
was.
is nothing. Again.
Nothing?
Nothing sad, brother. No treachery. Just blackout.
Holy shit, we've missed this fucking title card this whole time?
Yep.
This is where the story technically begins?
I wouldn't say so.
I know, but you know
can,
what I'm implying.
you can completely miss it, honestly. You can
God,
just
that's-
not read it.
That's fucking wild. I didn't know that there was an actual hard title card. That's awesome.
I think the end credits begin the same way, so this is also like an allusion to that. It's a fake out.
It's a good fake out. I just lie there, passed out.
Well, almost nothing. There is the ground below you. That's still there. And the small light that's on, fluttering, somewhere in the basal ganglia.
Who's that?
That's me. Blue eyes, that's me.
And who was that?
Who was what?
He speaks of the sickening longing, the unwell emotion. Even in the darkness, he's grasping for it. Still trying to hold on to the great sorrows slipping in the water. Slimy.
No, I was cool. I'm cool.
The cool when you're dead, brother.
Here in the paleo-mammalian cortex, we call it the shadow. Because it's always there.
Tell him. Tell him.
Ah, yes. In the olfactory system, they call it the apricot chewing gum scented one. It's unhealthy of them to linger on it so. But as they say, what do you do?
It smelled so nice.
It didn't smell nice. It smelled like betrayal.
What is that?
Betrayal! Betrayal!
Betrayal!
This game sucks!
Betrayal! Oh, God. Was that the X something? The...
Bloated corpse of the past resurfacing.
No, it was beautiful.
Beautiful. Believe me, stupid ape, its lack of beauty was not the problem.
Where's Voyager Road?
There is no Voyager Road. There are no roads, no houses, no lights in the windows. It's all on pause.
Enough. I'm just gonna lie here, motionless.
You think they would let you? Until you disintegrate into biomolecules? No. Someone is breathing on your face now, inspecting your pupils, stupid idiot.
What is that? It's cold.
Yes, they're pouring something on you. It's in you. And
It's delicious. Glowing lights on a dashboard emerge out of nothingness.
Where am I?
In the upholstered cabin of Lieutenant Kitsuragi's motor carriage, seated in the driver's basket. The air is thick with leatherworks and heavy fuel oil. Cold water runs down your chin.
Drink. Water.
The lieutenant is extending a small canister to your mouth.
I drink.
The water is cold, silvery, the stuff of life itself, as it pours down your parched throat. The pounding in your head recedes. The darkness parts.
Drink. You haven't drunk water in 2 days. Did you know the human body is not made to survive on alcohol alone? You need a secondary form of hydration.
I drink again.
With greedy gulps, you down half a liter of cold water. Some of it spills on the driver's seat. The lieutenant pays no heed to it.
What happened?
I should ask you the same.
You were reading your paperwork. Then you passed out. I carried you to my kinema to take you to a hospital. Then you came to.
How long was I out?
10 minutes, maybe.
I came in contact with the burned-out ruins of the past, Lieutenant.
That does sometimes happen.
He hands you the remains of your ledger.
He replies with such understanding, it's as if the burnt-out ruins of the past were an occupational hazard. Athlete's foot for cops.
You dropped these. Are you okay to proceed?
Let's solve this case.
Good.
Well, there we go. White morning. You see yourself from above. You have passed out on the blue tiles of the hostel room floor. Even from this distance, you can see your eyelids flutter at the mention of what? A great white object letting out its sweet smell like a lily of the valley. The little man's forgotten its name, but he still remembers the feeling. And look, he moves. The feeling animates him. He instinctively reaches out for the feeling's best friend, a bottle of Commodore Red. He puts on his disco clothes and gets smaller and smaller. You need to unlock a slot. You only get free for free. There we go.
Okay.
Also, check your items.
Oh, okay.
Tools. The ledger is now something you can put in your hand.
Oh! He's kind of holding it weird.
Yeah.
Okay. All right, everybody, we're gonna take a short break. I'll be back in about 10 to 20 minutes, and then we'll do this for another hour and a half or two, and then we'll wrap. What a coincidence.
Perfect.
Same game. Yeah. And we'll just pause it at there.
Nobody trusts the autosaves.
Huh?
Nobody trusts autosaves, even despite the fact it happened, you saved again.
Right, yeah. We'll see you guys in just a second. Enjoy the sounds of the music, I guess, in the meantime.
In 15 minutes. What, we staying on air?
I'm not going to stop you from talking to the people if you want to.
I suppose. Hey, Vivek, what's up? We're gonna be on pause for now. I guess I'll update the thread on Twitter. I'm just gonna sit here because I've already made and ate my dinner. Coffee time, he says. Also, hey, I see you're subscribing now, Vivek. Thanks. I don't see the notification because it's not my channel, but it's nice to see the star. I should get a moderation powers or something. Just to fucking purge all the big follows. Actually, you know what? I'm gonna get myself some multivitamin, so I'll be back in a jiffy. Need to low and some more coffee? Yeah, that's fair. Man, it's kind of deserted here today. Not that I don't appreciate Vivek being here, but it's a shame. This is going to be really weird in the VOD recording. So I guess I'll just keep talking despite having nobody to talk to. I don't know what should I read Hamlet? To be or not to be. Let's go. To be or not to be, that is the question. Whether it is nobler in the mind to suffer the slings and arrows of outrageous fortune, or to take arms against a sea of troubles, and by opposing them, to die, to sleep. No more, and by a sleep to say we end the heartache and the thousand natural shocks that flesh is heir to. 'Tis a consummation devoutly to be wished, to die, to sleep. To sleep, perchance to dream, aye, there's the rap. For in that sleep of death, what dreams may come, when we have shuffled off this mortal coil, must give us pause. There's the respect that makes calamities of so long life. For who would bear the whips and scorns of time, to oppressors wrong the proud man's contumely? The pangs of this priest's love, the love's delay, the insolence of office and the spurns, that patient merit of unworthy takes, when he himself might his quietus make with a bare bodkin, who would fardels bear to ground and sweat under a weary life, but that the dread of something after death, the undiscovered country from whose bourne no traveller returns, puzzles the will, and makes us rather bear those ills we have than fly to other that we know not of. Thus conscience doth make cowards of us all, and thus the native hue of resolution is sicklied o'er with the pale cast of thought, and enterprises of great pith and moment, with disregard this current turn awry, and lose the name of action. Shakespearean English is bullshit, I just want to say. Says the ancient reptilian brain, yeah. I just needed to do something for the air, because 10 minutes of silence on the VOD would be really, really weird. Also, since you're here, Vivek, I can brag. I had a video conference for a new job yesterday, and I think it went positively, and I'm supposed to get feedback in a day or two. Well, Monday, probably, or Tuesday. And I hope it goes well, because they're supposed to pay well. And I'm tired of being poor. Yeah, well. Does the Discord link work? No, it doesn't. God damn it. This works, this works, this works, this works. These things work. Get a subscriber. Yay! I did. That's nice. Oh, yeah, I hope the news is good as well, thanks. Oh boy. I'm quite tired, to be honest. It's really weird that I'm playing Disco myself right now, replaying the second run, and I'm at the very end, and I didn't manage to finish it before we started streaming, and I'm a bit bummed. Still, yeah, that game is amazing. Should we just rename the channel, honestly, actually? I think I might. I don't think my personal brand matters anymore. Wycinanie. I kind of wish there was more music and less ambience. This is a bit awkward, honestly. Oh, and what's up with you, Vivek? How are you holding up? Full voice acting would have allowed me when playing because it's so much slower than my reading speed, but it works really well for a stream. Yeah, I feel you. I read very quickly, and it would be a problem for me if this was my first playthrough. But luckily, it is not. So on a second playthrough, it's very nice to like kick back and take it slowly and just listen to the voices. And it is great for streaming. Yeah. My jaw almost fell off when we played Pato 2. I would not like to repeat that within like a year. Still stumbling from one day to the next. I'm glad you're still here, even if stumbling. Don't be afraid to say weird things. People are more forgiving to persons of power, like police officers. You know what? I have dealt with police once in my life, and they were absolutely fucking useless. They weren't weird at all. It's kind of a shame. What a king. Still hanging at 69 observers, huh? Damn. Maybe now this number will never change. Everybody who ever wants to follow us will just sit there and go, ah, but why would I unfollow this? This number is so nice. The death of growth, the number 69. I don't know, should I read more poetry? What the fuck am I supposed to do? Glad to catch the stream because I don't think I should play it again, but seeing more of it is nice. Yeah, I feel you. I'm surprised how much I enjoyed my second playthrough, honestly. I just got in because of the remake video, but I figured, you know what, why not? Let's go 1 intelligence, himbo playthrough, 5 physical. And so much stuff is different, and the different voices chime in all the time that it's really, really interesting, I think. It's a good game. You really feel that there's like 4 times more text here than in Pathologic 2, even if it doesn't feel like it because it's in the replayability. So yeah, kudos Zaum. Make a new game. Give me more. Fix the bugs in this release because quite honestly there's quite a lot in Final Cut. Often a line doesn't play or the wrong one plays. And it's weird. I feel that my first run was kind of playing again would undermine my story. I mean, you still remember your story, right? So treat it as a what-if scenario more than anything. First playthrough is always canon in your soul. That's what I feel as well. Even if I save scummed a few things myself when I was playing. So I'm not as canon maybe as it should be. But oh well. Would definitely get them mixed up. Oh, in your head. Maybe, I suppose. I guess that's the issue with like predetermined protagonists, right? If you made a different character named it differently, maybe it would save as a different save file in your brain. Yeah, I know, but I really wanted to see that goddamn graffiti, and I kept failing the roll, and it irritated me. So I just F5 load, F5 load, F5 load. Until I got it. Oh, I know what I also scammed. I failed the composure check on dancing in the church like 10 times. And I said, fuck it, like, I want to see this scene. So yeah, that's my brightest moment, but I think it was worth it. Do. 318, nice. Just 682 more, and we'll read The Conquest of Bread for YouTube. Oh my fucking... My cat girl Jill. Oh no. Oh my poor heart. Save. Also save. Changing clothes in public to pass checks. Yeah, I do this all the time too. It's a mechanic, of course I'm going to abuse it. I don't know, I kind of feel like I would be more satisfied if the clothes did nothing and they were just there for style. Because, for example, I think like for the early stretch of the game, how nicked your savoir-faire is by the -2 is downright unfair. I think it's almost impossible to not crush into Lena at the start, unless you take your pants off, and that's a whole another problem. I don't want to crash into this old lady on a wheelchair. Let me take my pants off. Ow, ow, my poor neck. I'm your host, John, the last essayist. Yeah, thanks, music. I wanted to joke on my own saliva today. 5 more views, come on. I'm gonna hit 1000 in the Automata video. Actually, when was this posted? November, so it's been, what, 6 months? I'm satisfied with this. Still, I wish the channel grew faster, but what can you do? Ha, Max thinks he saw this digital picture before me. Good fucking riddance, dude. I feel it may, like maybe should have been only been able to change outfits a couple times a day. Felt kind of broken to abuse it. Very old school RPG mechanic intruding on the more thoughtful other design. Yeah, I would agree. Or also maybe you only get dressed in the morning. I would say pick your clothes. Of course, that would I think necessitate the days being shorter and the whole thing stretching over maybe 2 weeks instead of one. Or something along these lines. It's really weird, like you have like an entire wardrobe with you in your pockets, I assume. Or maybe Kim is the one carrying a whole rack of clothes behind you. What's up with my boy Roundabout? Not much. Still, it's not really that popular. That's good. He deserves it. Man, that picture is so good. Holy shit. Weird that you aren't expected to invest in your chosen clothing sense. Yeah, exactly. Maybe it's because there's like it isn't that much choice at the end of the day. There's maybe 2 or 3 items per category, and it would feel limiting. But at the same time, I don't know.
Boo.
Boo. Bitch.
I return, finally.
Oh, welcome back.
How
Is your...
long ago did I step away?
I don't know, I didn't check.
Okay.
Is your laundry set? Also, say thanks to Vivek.
Yes, for subscribing. I noticed
Yeah.
as I was leaving. Thank you for subscribing, VFig. I don't think we deserve it, but I appreciate it nonetheless.
Fuck you, I deserve everything.
You deserve a lot more for how much work you're putting into those fucking essays. Not saying that VFig needs to be the one giving you more. Saying.
yeah, of course. I'm not putting this responsibility on an individual. I'm demanding more from the world in general.
It's been 87 years. Okay.
Yes?
Nothing here. Also, during your absence, I was reading Hamlet out loud just to not leave dead air for the VOD. Shakespeare in English is weird.
Did you start reading it from the beginning? Is that why I heard to be or not to be?
Just the to be or not to be monologue.
Okay.
Anyway, yes, Shakespeare in English is weird. I don't like it. Why is your language weird? But it changed so much over the course of what, 5 centuries? Map information incomplete. Oh yeah, I should say that we're back. Profile. And we're back. Exclamation mark.
The worn and beaten wooden planks of the bench do not look overly comforting.
We can sit on benches after we've solved the murder. Let's go.
God, I thought the damage looks like it could have been caused by an earthquake.
What was the purple thought? Oh, there it is.
Maybe a sea monster did this to the plaza.
Okay.
Imagination.
Imagination. Oh, hey, I can perceive these steps now. Fence.
Defense, yeah.
You see a set of tire tracks in the brown slush that covers the plaza mosaic.
Why am I looking at this?
Cop habit. You look at everything. This isn't case-related, you think.
What kind of vehicle drove through here?
Hard to say.
Let's reconstruct the movement.
The tire tracks were left here by an unknown event that took place some days ago. It's a message, written in the language of burnt rubber. Some of that rubber stuck to the tiles right in front of the whirling in rags. This is point A. The driver started there, and then accelerated straight into the fence, left a hole big enough for the Franco-Nigerian cavalry, according to the cafeteria manager.
What happened next?
The driver proceeded to back out of the yard, barely stopping before hitting the adjacent building. Before heading south. Must have been in a hurry.
A car drove through the fence.
You are correct. This is a rather motor carriage-friendly city.
Somehow that makes you feel scared. You don't know why.
Is this connected to the case?
I'm not sure. There are plenty of traffic accidents waiting to happen in Martinez. With the jam right here on the roundabout, I would keep them separate.
You could follow the track south. There seems to be a canal there. See where they went, if you find the time.
So yeah, you can go to the water lock, and there is also a reconstruction there to be made.
Okay, it took off in this direction.
Down this road. To your left. Go down. Yeah, I think you need to check the billboard. Yeah. We got an orb there.
Butter sign down.
And now we can.
A crumpled billboard reading, Samaran butter soaks in the canal. 2 ugly lines mar the bright countenance of the blonde boy depicted. Judging by the size of the impact and the parallel lines of burnt rubber, the cause was probably a motor vehicle.
Are you fucking serious?
It goes vroom.
Oh, it hit the sign and used it as, oh my god.
Yes.
These look like the same tire tracks I saw earlier, in front of the whirling rags.
Look at the crater.
Side slip marks indicated that the vehicle was traveling up the crater at 35 kilometers an hour.
I look at the roof of the shack.
The black marks on the roof indicate that the vehicle vaulted from the crater to the roof of the shack.
How did the car not collapse through the shack?
It's a very light car, don't worry about it.
Listen, I can see the calculus going on here, but still. I look at the sloping metal roof panel.
The panel served as a takeoff ramp.
Yeah, sure, okay. I look at the broken posts.
The vehicle soared through the air, hitting the billboard and upsetting the posts. Then it continued its flight, taking the billboard with it.
I look at the sign.
The sign broke the vehicle's fall into the canal. The Samaran butter billboard still looks freshly painted, suggesting it took the plunge recently.
How recently?
Within the past 72 hours.
I look at the opposite bank.
Still speeding, the vehicle made a loop and vanished into the fog along the coast.
What was the model of this phantom vehicle?
There are 2 good candidates, the Caprice 40 and the Linear G22.
Why the Caprice 40?
It's about the right size, and the tire marks look like they came from the skinny tires frequently found on that motor carriage. The Caprice 40 is a very popular model, with bank clerks, topping pie delivery drivers, secondary school teachers, cops, strippers dressed as cops, undressed strippers.
Vivek says the visual calculus segments are so good. Yeah, I really like the visuals they used for it. They're always like you're watching a crime procedural, but one of the good ones.
It's like it's an episode of NCIS.
Yeah.
Why the Linnea G22?
Very sturdy but light motor carriage. More likely than most to survive that jump. The Linear G22 is not a particularly popular model due to its peculiar proportions, which the manufacturer's design team probably thought about for too long.
Is it
now?
You'd have
multipla?
to follow the tracks to be sure.
All right.
The lieutenant looks on, waiting for you to wrap up your analysis.
Now we can talk to him.
Oh. Oops.
Yes?
Oh, never mind. Oh.
Oh, come on!
Return there and do the analysis again. Maybe it will proc again.
The crumpled Samaran butter billboard stills the lieutenant.
Yeah, there we go.
Any theories about what happened here?
He gazed down at the sign.
Looks like somebody was in a real hurry.
What kind of car do you think it was?
I think it was a Caprice.
That's quite likely, from what I can tell.
I
Seems
have some
impressed.
ideas about... well, no. Yeah, fuck it.
Oh,
He raised his eyebrows.
It was someone dangerous. Perhaps this is somehow connected to the murder?
the traffic hooliganism? I hope not. Fortunately, we are not traffic cops. Should we get back to the murder?
No, we need to bring this driver to justice.
If we must.
I'm not expecting him to get far with this, the lieutenant consoles himself.
Okay. Oh,
My God, why are you working so hard?
just the exasperated side of...
Yep. That's Kim, alright. Dealing with
Oh,
our
Harry.
bullshit.
What am I gonna do with you? It's Harry and Kim solving the crimes. Welcome to Ravishol.
Cop and his binocular. No, wait.
Bino and Drunky. Oh wait, no, it's Beano and Drunky because it's supposed to, I guess, have a verbal similarity to another type of slur I won't say on here.
Yes?
To the right, the bus driver's to the right. There she is. I assume you were looking for her.
Yes.
Lowman, you caught me at an opportune moment. This awful weather keeps me awake. You can entertain me with your questions.
Before I came, you seemed away.
She's just a distracted old woman. We should maybe let her get back to her things.
You hear that, Lowman? I don't think your partner likes you spending too much time with me.
Wait, why is that, Lieutenant?
Nothing. I just don't think she's connected to anything.
It's because of the Pale. He doesn't want your frail mind caught up in it. And this woman has spent time in the Pale. A lot of time.
The routes you drive are unusual, aren't they?
Some of them. Some of them are like home to me now. I would say the routes I drive are usual to me.
What routes?
Lomonosov's Land, Udajnaya Zemlya, the Western Plain.
She doesn't close her eyes again, letting her mind submerge.
A terrible cold comes over her, rattling her teeth as she stares inward.
The Transcatolia Magistral. You for 1A. Adestradas du Mirador. All the good ones. The deep trenches. Where the bluebirds fly.
She opens her eyes again and shudders.
I'm something of an expert in blacking out. You should take better care of yourself.
You're right, Lowman. I'm the one who should take my health more seriously. Thank you for looking out for me.
A correct appraisal. You're quite shabby.
Is that all you woke me up to say?
I think I know what's going on with you.
And what is that?
Shift sticks a filterless cigarette into a cigarette holder and reaches for the light.
You're a Pale driver. You transport goods through the Pale.
Great. He asked the Pines rep about the Pale, and now he's talking to everyone about it.
Oh, Kim, I'm so sorry.
Fine then. Just try not to black out again, and don't contemplate. We don't have time for that.
Everything is related to the Pale. My condition, the case, everything. It's all entrepreneuric.
That is exactly what I didn't want you to think. Ma'am, my partner wanted to know if you work in Pale transport.
No offense. But your partner?
She lights the cigarette, a white and silver cloud of smoke disappears into her mouth.
Seems like a bit of an idiot.
She breathes out, the air tastes sweet.
I blacked out after a night of heavy drinking and lost all memory of the world.
Like Gabriel Buenguerro in Pergunte a Poeira. You're the opposite of me, then. I remember everything. Even things I never knew.
Things you never knew.
The smell of liquor on Gabriel's lips after the shoot. In the motor park. The roses on the day of Franco Negro's coronation. On the grand stairs of Ryle. The smoke from the fowling piece when Dolores Day was shot. The look on her face, like an orgasm. The wound in her chest. My hand in my father's hand. Except I never had a father. And I never shot her innocent Dolores Day.
So her thoughts are overlapping with the thoughts and memories that were consumed by the Pale.
Yeah, pretty much. The Pale is like an endless reservoir of the past, and you can get overradiated
It's
by
the collective
someone else's
unconsciousness of the world.
past. Basically, yeah. Even after people who held these memories are long gone.
Right. And you don't necessarily need to be consumed by the Pale because you become part of the world the Pale is essentially consuming you. Interesting. Over radiation?
Heroic doses, Hervé. Heroic.
Isn't that dangerous?
Thought insertion? Dithering? The Grad Catala Magistral? It's more than dangerous. It's sad. But at first I had to make a living. Now, when you've seen it all go away like that, rolling off like the sea, and then come back to this...
Gestures at the square, the broken horse monument, the clanging of machines in the distance.
What are we doing here? For thousands of years, Gabriel. It doesn't have to be like this. We can just give up. We can just become a vapor.
What is it? I'm sorry, I just had a very funny thought in my head. And I've gotta share it with the class.
The class.
Have you ever heard of a movie called The Number 23?
Yes, the semi-serious movie with Jim Carrey, right? Like
yes. So
square root of 23
unfortunately,
0.666.
I have had an image pop in my head of Harry Dubois, but he is just Jim Carrey, and instead of the number 23, it's the Pale, and like going insane. Except in this case, like it was weird how that popped in my head and made me laugh, because I am gambling that there's a very, very real chance that instead of it being the plot twist of, this person went insane and the movie actually... Sorry, spoilers for a very old movie. I do kind of recommend watching it because it is kind of cool. But the number 23 ends up being a story about somebody who has a mental break into schizophrenia. And the number 23 is the trigger for it. And you essentially follow this story of this man having his psychological break and becoming, for a lack of better phrasing, a broken person.
Okay.
The
Pale!
What?
No, just imagine Harry just seeing mentions of the Pale everywhere and losing his mind.
Yeah, like just scribbling on the wall the Pale over and over and over again.
The Pale is coming, the Pale is coming, the Pale is coming, the cake is lying.
Exactly, something like that. A big, giant, gray, cloud all on one side of the room. And then, whatever. Anyway. I do want to say, though, I am really glad now that I have not looked at any story summaries for this. And spoiled anything about it for myself, because if I had spoiled the stuff about the Pale, I think that would have really ruined today's stream.
It would be a bummer, yeah. It's like the realization of how different this world is really hitting, because a lot of it is grounded in what we know, but then it just slaps you from the left side because you don't expect basic metaphysical concepts to be different, usually. Like, even if you have, I don't know, Dungeons and Dragons or another fantastical world, you kind of assume gravity is there, right? And it's kind of the same thing.
I think by attempting to convey the concept that Disco Elysium's world is paralleling ours and is more just like, oh, this is just an alternate Earth, there isn't too much that's different from it, and then to just, as you're getting into the end of day one or you're starting into day two, for it to clock you upside the head with the metal baseball bat that is the Pale, it's really reframing a lot of the narrative.
Sure is.
Especially the stuff about the conflict of the revolution, because that could lend itself a lot to what's driving it.
Hey, yeah, in that context, consider that the United Nations of this world went through what is basically mathematical nothingness just to stop people from making a communist state. How much this says about this world?
It means that this world is fucked.
Yes.
And there is something to be said for a narrative that is strongly going on the idea of everything is fucked, and most have accepted that it's fucked, either in the form of learning to ignore it, because it's going to take forever to it be completely fucked. We don't know how long it's going to take, and there's no point in worrying about it, and we might as well just continue living our lives. I think if that was the case for this world, we would probably have a significantly lower population, because I think a good couple of people in a realization of something like that probably would have killed themselves.
I mean, yeah, but at some point you just reach a point where everyone just takes
Oh
it for
yeah,
granted.
everybody's
Like,
become complacent with it. But I think if we were to wake up one day and all of a sudden Antarctica, or God forbid, I wouldn't want this to happen to you guys, but like Russia or Asia or fuck it, the US or South America or Africa just fucking disappeared, and
I mean,
in its place,
yeah, but
go ahead.
yeah, you're saying, assuming something that it happens suddenly, right?
Yeah.
Overnight, as you say. Whereas in here, it's happening slow, like the pale creeping in, and it's happening for us as well. Ever since I learned how to read. Everybody has been telling me about how one day, like half of the current landmass is going to be underwater because of global warming. So I'm still alive. I'm still quite fine mentally with that. So you know what they say about slowly heating up the water, right, for the frog or whatever it was in the pot, rather than all at once.
Yeah, it's that we're in a world at the moment where we have so much science in which we can analyze and break down our problems and rationalize and attempt to solve them. Even with shit like fucking interstellar objects, we have a means to deal with that.
Yeah,
But this is clearly a setting in reality where they don't have that, and they know that the end is coming, but it's so far away, and there's so much nothing that they can do about it, and they can't provide a solution or answer to that end.
Yeah.
So there's not.
I mean,
that.
hey, the sun is going to be expand and consume the Earth. It's several thousand years into the future, but it will happen. It's an inevitability. It's just so far away that we don't really worry about it. I assume it's kind of a similar situation.
Well, and I'm getting the implication from the setting that space travel isn't exactly something that exists in this world.
Yeah, no, certainly not. If they have trouble making satellites, then going outside is probably even harder.
Yeah, I was gonna say that the whole thing of we've set up weather balloons and all this other shit and it doesn't work. It's like, oh, you guys are never getting the fuck off this planet, are you?
Yeah, stuck in here.
Yeah, so that's the other thing. The complacency and the lack of an answer kind of has people just understandably throwing their hands in the air and going, oh well.
Clowns to the left of me, jokers to the right. Here I am, stuck in the middle with you.
Yeah. What does it look like, the Pale?
Like looking into the ocean at night, in the dark.
And?
You cannot see it, but you know it's there. And it's big, bigger than anything. Bigger than all the other things combined.
And what does it feel like?
Nothing. Until it starts. When you are deep enough. Then, for me, it's like autumn. Dark, gray, and orange. The orange of street lights and the color of streets and electric light. It smells like autumn too. It smells terrible.
Nostalgia. Cooped up in the cabin, shaking. Terrible nostalgia. For yourself. For humans. It's too much to bear. She loves it.
How do you pass through it?
In the belly of an airship, behind the cell windows. So you don't look straight into it. It's not advised to look into it.
Not a Miss Laurie, then.
No, the same one, a roller. They all are nowadays. Special wheels for connecting to the floor of the hold.
She points to the machines, clamped up like toys.
One last thing. You said we can just become vapor?
Yes.
No elaboration.
I feel that I already have what you have in some way.
They say there is a point, one that I have not crossed. In the Pale, super deep. If you stray too far, of course, on the U41A, or in Lomonosov's land, where every step you take is one step further from home, no matter the direction. It's a point you cannot come back from. Your mind becomes so radiant with the past, there is a flip. Instead of writing, it erases memory, nearing some kind of indescribable finale.
She flicks the ash from her cigarette.
Maybe you've been down the motorway south?
She looks at her cigarette. It's almost out. She has swallowed it hungrily. Then at you.
The motorway south.
It's a story as lone horsemen tell. Lone horsemen, Sheriff, not Pale drivers. Way beyond the established Pale that's lit by radio frequencies, where it goes silent and dark, and the process begins, erasure, kilometer by kilometer, in any direction. The motorway south is a road you cannot come back from.
What is at the end of the motorway south?
No one knows what's at the end. I've only glimpsed the beginning. I've only felt it in the distance, when I was a child. A child rowing on the lake.
She goes silent, her eyes close, and her hands shake.
Ma'am?
Josiane.
A sigh escapes her lips, then silence as she stares within herself.
There is nothing more to do now. She's far away. She is receding in the clutches of some indescribable scattered emotion. A child descending.
You've fried both your brains enough for today, Detective.
He inspects her, no response.
Let's get some air. This one's far gone.
He shakes his head silently as he turns to leave.
Harry went into the Pale at some point.
I mean, if he ever did intercontinental travel, probably.
I'm gambling that's what we're building up to the realization of.
Gonna visit my family in the US, just gotta go through the fucking nothing.
Okay, let's unlock a new slot. And confirm. Okay.
Motorway south, -1 visual calculus for bizarre angles. At the edge of the map, the landmass begins to disintegrate into pure trigonometry. The ocean melts, becoming a tinge of sines and cosines. The mountain range turns into a sharp angled azimuth. Its green range shadow dithers like music turning into a waveform, and then vanishes. This is the end, or a half-remembered textbook from your childhood, the porch collapsing on the edge of the Isola. A transition from reality to Pale. A single vector shoots out like a rocket. It's the motorway south, splintering off from the known Pale. To where? Where does it go? Hey, more thoughts.
I want to express appreciation for the fact that you have managed to keep the stuff about the Pale under wraps and not let me know about it or hint about it in any way whatsoever. That
it's what I do.
Gave it away.
I also spoiled it in my video that you watched, so I think I also managed to beat around the bush enough to not spoil people in it as well. So that's good.
You must not. I don't actually think I watched it now that I think about it. So
okay. I think you did, but at least I remember you referencing it this way.
I think I watched part of it. I think I watched like the first 5 or 10 minutes of it.
Yeah, that's fair.
I will say not letting people know about the Pale could be a double-edged sword, because I could also see it for some people being the only thing that's going to hook them in.
Yeah, that's the issue with spoilers always, honestly. Like, how much do you say to be informative, but at the same time not spoil the surprise?
Yeah, it's very weird, because now chasing that thread of finding out more about it is definitely going to keep driving me forward. There's a thought here that I feel like I need to get my hands on somehow.
Which one?
The bow collector.
I don't even know what it does.
The bow collector came up in the topic of discussing the Pale.
Did it?
Yeah.
Let me see.
Anyway.
Oh, no. You won't get it, I can tell you.
Okay.
It's mutually exclusive with the White Morning. You would get it if you would discard the card instead of reading it. According to Wiki.
Okay. I tried to hit tab to open up a map for some reason.
Hit it again. It's highlight stuff. There's probably storage here. There were coins next to that guy. The yellow right there under.
Oh.
Yeah, I have high enough perception to notice them now.
Yay.
Money.
Yeah, I was gonna say I still need to get my fare for tonight.
Yep.
I don't know how I'm gonna do that.
It stops being a problem at some point, but for now, yeah, you need a 20 real. Oh. An old monument stands in the middle of the traffic island, pointing towards the sea. It looks as if it's been reassembled piece by piece, secured and mounted in the air with the aid of numerous ropes and rods.
Who is this?
A silver plaque on the statue's pedestal reads, I am Philip the Fair, the Squanderer, the greatest of the Philippian knights of Revachol, son of Philip II the Opulent, father of Philip IV the Insane.
Not a good track record of mental health in that family. As you look up, you notice something about the statue. There are some odd indentations on the king's chest piece.
What indentations? What do I see?
Something with great kinetic energy seems to have impacted the cuirass, around where the heart is. A bullet? Someone shot him in the heart. Interesting.
Lieutenant, has someone shot the king? I point to the indentation.
Okay, I can't see it, but I take your word for it.
What do you think?
Well, Martinez is riddled with bullet holes. This place saw a lot of action during the revolution. But the statue is recently renovated, so maybe a joke? Target practice or a political statement?
Also, I just want to say, Kim having eyesight issues and people saying something is obvious and you just don't see it is very relatable. I'm short-sighted as well. I'm corrected now, but for the longest time I didn't have glasses as a child, and it sucked. It really sucked.
Political. It's a king, and he's shot.
Why not? What this shows us is guns aren't too uncommon here, and people still shoot them, sometimes at kings.
It's a note in his notebook.
The king stands high above you, surveying the bay, mute and indifferent to your sightings. Even by the standards of the Philippian kings, old sumptuous Philip was known for his profligacy.
In what way?
Well, he blew through the whole national treasury, starting the decline of one of the penultimate century's greatest superpowers, the suzerain of Revachol. His own maladministration foreshadowed the fall of the monarchy. During the anti-centennial revolution, an end to his family line and the monarchy on the Insulindian Isola.
How did he manage to blow through the entire national treasury?
Stories have it that he had his bedroom converted into a treasure chamber, where he stored unfathomable wealth. Krugerrands, bars of gold, ornate weaponry, armor, and various chalices. There were whispers he slept on a huge pile of gold-dipped feathers, like some obese dragon, instead of a bed, like a normal person.
No wonder everything went to shit.
But wait, you haven't even heard about his fabled cocaine addiction.
The what now?
It skipped the line. He called it the Sol Aurum, and Joyce before said that's where the king was screaming to purify them, right? Same place.
You see, old Philippe wasn't just good at squandering the national treasury on gold and ceremonial weaponry. he was also a prodigious snorter of nose candy. Not just any nose candy, though. We're talking Royal Philippian Blow, allegedly twice as potent as the stuff you find nowadays, and purple. Philippian cocaine was purple.
You know, if I ask a particular question, electrochemistry is not going to shut up.
Of course not.
So I want to hear that dialogue. Let's go.
Cocaine.
That's it.
Oh.
It already chimed in.
This is a lot to process.
His Majesty's courtiers said it helped him connect with the higher realms.
Of course it did.
So he was addicted to nose candy, a bloated druggie?
That's what the revolutionaries said 150 years later. Right before they emptied out the royal mausoleum and dumped His Majesty's mortal remains in the Insulindian Bay.
Okay, so where is he burying now?
Beneath the cold waters of the Insulindian Bay, thrown there by the revolutionaries after they cleaned out the royal mausoleum. A group of marble pleurons still surround the king's vandalized tomb. A deathly cold wind sweeps up candy wrappers and old newspapers.
What happened to the statue?
The original was blown apart by communards, then further damaged during the landing of the coalition's airships during the turn-of-the-century revolution, when Martinez was leveled. Most historians think the coalition's hasty landing may have ultimately saved the statue. If the communards had more time, they would have reduced it up to even finer pieces.
Who restored the monument?
Some years ago, a group of liberal, artistically inclined individuals, designers mostly, thought it would be ironic to restore the statue of the most wasteful ruler of Revachol in the poorest part of the city. The statue is supposed to capture the moment it was blown apart, like an instant frozen in time, a rare butterfly trapped in amber, floating on a sea of shit.
That's kind of clever.
People in Martinez tend to disagree, as do many prominent art critics and thought leaders with more nuanced social awareness than the young ironists.
I have to say, I really like it.
The squanderer,
personally.
however, with his bronze face up in the air, doesn't seem concerned about what the hoi polloi think of him in death. Not that he ever did in life either.
The monument to the destruction of a monument is a cool idea, and I like it. Also, every time this is brought up, it makes me think, you know, I have like a 15-minute ride to the Polish Royal Mausoleum that is in the old royal castle. And I have to say, luckily, nobody from there was thrown into the waters. But I wonder if that would happen someday.
You know, if there's ever a means at some point to safely travel over to your neck of the woods, you'll have to. We should go sightseeing.
Totally. Hey, Boof, watching Netflix Zania? Yeah, me too. I'm on episode 4.
Yeah, the stream is today, Boof. I work Sundays. Sorry about that.
Oh, that happens. But what I wanted to say is, Fritte, Boof, Fritte. The Polish kings are looked upon pretty fondly, I think, because only the last of them fucked up, and even then it wasn't a revolution. We got parceled away by other countries. The communism came 2 centuries later, after we had been like a pseudo-democracy.
I'm definitely game to try some pierogi. I don't know about kielbasa unless you can deliver it to me in a way where it's not even remotely sweet in any capacity, because that's
it's sausage. There are many kinds of it. Like
I know, that's what I'm getting at. Right. All the fucking kielbasa that I was served in fucking Pittsburgh had this sweet taste to it, and I was a little kid, and even I found it disgusting.
It is disgusting. I don't know what these fucking expats made, but it's not the sausages we have here.
Well, it's a whole problem that goes on in a lot of American food, dude, is that for some reason we have the genius idea that if you add sugar to it, that will be a good thing.
Yeah.
And it's some things just need to taste bitter or salty or herbal and have zero sugar.
Also, on the topic of money, you should have got the terror buck in your other hand, because otherwise the terror doesn't light up for you to pick up. And that is 10 cents per pop, so...
I don't think I have any.
Yeah, you don't... If you have 8 bottles in it.
I was gonna say, didn't I
The
already...
tear machine stands in the corner.
Oh no,
A sign
what the hell?
says, 1 bottle.
No. You need tear to use the tear machine.
Alright,
the hell?
later.
Why was the description lying to me?
I don't know.
Maybe it says contains 8 bottles, you can fit 8 bottles in it, but it's also a fucking lie. I remember having like 10s. It's bottomless. Bottomless. Also, I showed where it was the giant billboard right next to Kaczynski's grave that said "Rise up and win." Yeah, I remember that.
we'll make the trip to Poland also part of scoping out places for Council Mechanica HQ.
Yes. You know, we're called Council Mechanica. We need to like set up in some old factory. There's tons of them in Krakow.
Sorry?
We need to set up in some old factory. There's tons of them in Krakow. If we are called Council Mechanica, it would only be, you know, appropriate.
You know, I wouldn't be against that because, fortunately, having mostly grown up in a lot of cold weather, I will always take trying to bundle up and warm up from the cold than trying to beat the heat. So,
Really? I'm the opposite.
I think if you spent enough time in Florida, you would disagree with that.
Probably, yes. High humidity heat sucks.
Yeah. Well, and not only that, but lots of mosquitoes and... Like, we're talking mosquitoes filling the air to the point that you're almost worried that you could breathe them in.
I have spent many summers in Missouri where it's like more lakes than land. I know what you mean. I've been there. I lived that.
Fuck. Oh, it's the light. I don't want to look at that. Check the can.
Money. It's more money.
Hooray.
Right. Just gonna say now, we'll probably have to wrap up in like half an hour.
Oh, shit. Okay.
Yeah. So...
Do you want to call it here? I mean, I feel like we don't have a whole lot going on. We could just call it early.
Really? Yeah, that would be fine. Like, we have stuff to do, we have places to go, people to talk to, but if you just want to stop, that's fine.
Well, and I feel like considering all the stuff we've been through on so far, that this segment of stream has a particularly good theme.
You could say it's a pretty pale-looking episode.
Yes.
The sight of bullet holes stirs something in you, making you forget the lieutenant's surname.
I'll look closer first.
The faded marks are too degraded to draw any forensic conclusions. Just chips in the sandstone. They look pretty ancient.
Kim, look! Bullet holes!
Where?
I point to the chips in the wall. Someone's been shot! We're cops! We should solve it!
There? Those are old.
Oh, do you mean like from the Revolution?
Yes, the one that happened half a century ago. Those bullets were fired during the Revolution and do not warrant an investigation by officers of civil law.
Alright, what can you tell me about it?
Not much. I don't have a fresh perspective on it. Shall we go?
Kim is the opposite of a lore dump. He really doesn't want to spend any more time on it. Come tomorrow so we can play MTG? I don't think I will, sorry. I've got some projects to attend to. By which I mean I finally have some time off and I want to use it.
Well, and the other reason I want to end early is because, Boof, I'm going to drag you into a call in a second because we still need to talk about something. We've
been no.
Delaying talking.
This sounds like relationship trouble, but you two are not in a relationship.
No, shut the fuck up. You know what it's about, you son of a bitch.
Oh my, okay.
No, Booth, everything's fine. It's about streaming stuff. Alright, yeah, let me save my game. We're gonna come back to more of this on Tuesday, obviously.
Yep.
Save. So for now, we're going to be calling it early. Probably expect a 3 to 4 hour stream on Tuesday, hopefully, unless somebody comes up with Tito's job shit. Sorry that this wasn't longer, and sorry we've been delaying a lot of these streams, but
I don't think I told you, but yeah, I had my video call yesterday, and I'm supposed to get feedback by the end of next week.
Okay.
If I am hired, that starts in July, and we'll probably have to rethink our strategy a bit because I will be working full time. So we'll see how this works.
we will definitely have to think about how we're going to pull this off.
Yeah, worst case scenario, we'll downscale, but I don't think we'll have to cancel anything.
If we downscale as much as it would suck, we'll have to kill the podcast.
Yeah.
That'll suck, but, you'll be making more money, and ideally, by us making more money, we'll be able to start looking at how to support the channel better.
More money, my dude. I'll be earning 3 times as much as I am right now.
Fair enough. Which is
but no, it's the issue is that not that I will have not enough time or something. It's just that I don't know what my mental faculties will be after 8 hours of this every day.
That's exactly what I'm getting at. I don't
We'll
stream
see.
on days that I work because I'm too fucking mentally exhausted and physically tired to do it.
Yeah, exactly.
And the only reason I'm not worn out today from yesterday is because I fucking twisted my ankle on Thursday and woke up with a super stiff left ankle yesterday. My right knee was hurting like a motherfucker, and so was a good couple of parts of my left leg, and it didn't wear off until the fucking afternoon. So, as expected, to accommodate for my twisted ankle and to make sure it didn't fuck up the whole entire thing and make it like swell up and get fucked up, it transferred all that to the rest of my limbs.
Oh,
anyway.
I hope this heals soon then. If it says good luck becoming this... Yep.
I'm
You're
fine
better now.
today. It was much better than yesterday.
No, I just want to say, okay, that's good, okay. Vivek says, good luck becoming a slave to the man. Yeah, up until the channel takes off, I am a slave. So this is my means of emancipation.
You're putting a lot of pressure on me, Tito.
I mean my own channel. Yours is... Well, it would also be nice, but
I know. Until the channel...
I can't put pressure on anyone but myself.
Well, let's be clear. This channel is formed exclusively out of you getting your 10 or 20 some odd loyal followers to go, hey, I'm going to be live commentating on shit, and here's this fat American who's going to join in on it, and hopefully I can enlighten him on some good culture.
I mean, hey, this was your project. Don't give me all the credit.
Fair enough, I suppose. Well, yeah, that's right. We started on this before my fucking Twitter account got nuked. I remember now.
Yep.
All right. We'll see you guys later.
Cheers.
Y'all have a nice night. You know where to find us. I'm not going to bother saying the places.
You know who you are. You know who we are.
Uploads will be happening soon. Later.